Alrighty, good morning, everybody. It is a freezing balls of a brass monkey Friday in Johannesburg, South Africa. One of our guests is in Hong Kong. The other one is in who knows where. He calls it what? Joburgton. We'll find out exactly where that is and what that means in just a short while. We got some lovely people on this morning, and we got plenty to talk about. And as usual, we're going to try to keep you warm and get your day started in just the right way. So, welcome to the show. And let's get into it without any further ado. I spent the entire week energized by Argentina's match on Monday. I'm not the biggest sports fan in the world. Normally, when people talk about sport, I just glaze over and stop listening. But man, this World Cup is delivering. So, in case you didn't see it and maybe you don't care about Argentina, I'm going to bore you for the next couple of minutes anyway. They were playing against Egypt, and Egypt had scored 2 amazing goals, and there was only 15 minutes left of the game. And some people would have said, "Oh no, this is the end of Argentina, the reigning world champion, the defending world champions at the World Cup." And there've been a lot of upsets along the way. Some of the biggest teams have gone out. Norway, who we talked about the other day, took out Brazil at the knees. Brazil, the country with the most World Cups. And you can't tell me this isn't exciting. So if you haven't heard of Holland, as they pronounce it in Norwegian, this guy is like, he's the weirdest. He looks like Shrek. And if you're an English Premier League fan, you'll probably know him from that. But man, this guy is he's all anyone's talking about right now. Anyway, back to Argentina. With 15 minutes to go, they pulled a miracle. I mean, obviously, Messi was a big part of that, but there were other players who were involved just as much. And before the end of full time, they had managed to creep back with no less than 3 goals, making sure that they were through into the semi-finals. Quarter semi. I can't remember where we are in the competition, but it's just, this is way more exciting than I'd bargained for. So I started the week on a high, and it pretty much kept going that way. Lots of things to get into news-wise. There's lots to talk about, but I want to bring on my very good friend who lives in Hong Kong now. He flies planes for a living, but you may remember him from his time on radio, where he was on 947, had his own show, used to be on Anele's show, was on Tando's show, and you will recognize the voice, you will recognize the face. Here he is. The man is Alex Caige. Hello, Caige. How are you? You bring him on. Hang on.
Yeah.
James can't.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, there he is. How's it, dude?
Yeah, dude. I'm like adding commentary with the football, with the World Cup, with the soccer World Cup.
Did you watch any of it?
Dude, I've actually been watching it quite a bit because it works quite nicely with our time zone. Like some of the games are like quite early in the morning, but then the second games that have been running work quite nicely, like for when I wake up in the morning. That Argentinian game, dude. There's so much controversy around it because I've actually done quite a bit of depth in it, seeing what's going on. Have you heard of the Ronaldo effect?
No, what's that?
So so Spain beats Portugal. Like the most recent example, Spain beat Portugal, they knocked them out, right? Mm-hmm. The tickets for the game that Portugal would have played or would be playing next, the quarterfinal that Spain's playing, I think it's Belgium or whoever. That the ticket prices there were like 2,000, I think starting at $2,700. When Portugal got knocked out, the prices dropped by like 50%, so like $1,000 something. And everybody's saying that's foul that was called. That's that goal that was disallowed of the Egypt game, the Egypt-Argentina game. They said no, that was all corruption because people still want to pay high premium prices tickets, or not. People don't want to pay. FIFA want to do it. So there's so much controversy around it. But I'm loving this World
I heard
Cup.
that FIFA themselves made a statement this week about how they're going to investigate that referee because they think he was out of line. Honestly, watching it, I'm very biased, so I'm going to do what every sports fan always does and go, no, the ref was completely right when my side are safe.
Yeah,
and
of
I'm going to go, no, the ref's an asshole if my side are not. So, I don't give a shit as long as Argentina are through. I've supported them for 26 years.
Yeah. But dude, you're talking about Parliament and that row. Did you see how they did it in the Parliament?
Those
cool.
Norwegians. So Alex is just bringing up the fact that in the Norwegian Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament got everyone in Parliament to do their row, which is just so fucking cool. I just love it. I love it so much. Anyway, how are you? What's news?
Yeah, the vibe. Yeah, good, dude. So I actually went and checked. The last time that I was on the show was 2023, nearly 3 years ago, which is it's pretty wild. That was literally
took us
just
a long time to run out of guests.
No, I know. I was like, when are you going to call me back on? No. So, dude, I mean, obviously, that was just after I finished with radio. And then, I mean, as you know, but, for those that don't, I went and flew for the likes of like the UN and WFP World Food Program in all the armpits of Africa, all the worst places that you don't want to get a tourist visa for. And that was cool, man. I mean, I can tell you stories left, right, and center.
I'm going to throw this in because it's a story that is worth telling. And, we all look for stories. I'm going to let you complete the story, but I'm going to start the ball rolling because people think, they think that, radio is dangerous. You can have opinions and you'll get into trouble over those opinions and, it's so controversial. And wow, you're so brave to say the things you say. And some of these obviously people mean them as compliments, but when they say them to me, I don't take them as seriously. You were in either Sudan or South Sudan, and a bunch of like rough gangsters almost shot you in the head dead.
Yeah. So I think my mom's probably going to be watching this later. So
that's okay. She knows the story, or you never told her?
I don't know if I told her.
But, shit! Sorry. Okay. Well, now you got to tell us. Now you got to tell us. So, we were in South Sudan, Juba, which is, I mean, it's actually just gone totally worse now. But it was even back, in 2020, 2024. It was quite bad already. Juba was never Miami. Let's not kid ourselves.
Nah, look, it's on the White Nile there. It's a great view for lunch on the odd occasion. There's one particular restaurant where you can see like a couple of shipwrecks and it's really pretty from that angle. Besides that, it's an absolute shit show. So I arrived in Juba and one of my good friends now, he's also a pilot for SAA 2.0. He was the guy that welcomed me into Juba, and he's like, listen, let's go for lunch. And you can meet a couple of the expats there. So the expats being the pretty girls that work for, like the nurses and the doctors that work for these NGOs. He's like, we'll meet somebody there and they'll probably invite us to a barbecue. Let's go. We go having lunch, all and behold, we meet these girls and they invite us to one of their compounds. Now, this is how everything's structured there. Each NGO or organization is an individual compound with security guards, barricades, everything like that you got to get into. So you have to be invited to go to one of these things. So we're like, well, listen, our curfew is 7:00 in the evening, so we can come for a couple of hours, but we got to leave before that because our curfew was from 7:00 at night till 7:00 the next morning. If you're caught out there, the military becomes gangsters there, so you don't want to get caught out in the street. Anyway, organize everything. We get into a tuk-tuk and we are using Google Maps, which does actually work there, and we're going along on the way to this compound. Tuk-tuk driver's going, and we get to this barricaded area, and we see 7 military guards. Now, obviously, these guys are fully kitted out. They AK-47s, super tall. They're looking quite rough. But the tuk-tuk driver's like, listen, pilot problem. Yeah, well, this was certainly one of those. The tuk-tuk driver's like, listen, not going to go any further. Can't go in broken English, not going to go any further. And we're trying to convince him to go. He's just like, not going to happen. So myself and the captain that I was with at the time, we just said, well, listen, let's walk. You've got all these green and red zones that you can go through, and we'll walk towards the barricade area. If they let us in, it shouldn't be a problem. We start walking. They let us through. We're like, sweet, well, there's the compound. Let's go for it. Anyway, we turned into this one street, and it was one of these cowboy movie situations, and like tumbleweed and everything going across. And we're like, okay, well, this is not looking particularly good. Right. One of the guys actually just turned around and said to us, look, you got to go back the way you came. This is not a safe area for you, especially as white guys. It's not a place that you want to be seen. We're like, okay, let's hightail, let's get out of here. We started coming back to that same barricade that these guys led us through because we thought that was a safe area. Guys stand up, all 7 of them, point their guns at us and just say, you American tourists, you think you can go where you want. Sit down, you're going to learn. And at that point, I mean, you know me pretty well. I was just like, no, not going to happen. Sorry. We've obviously gone down the wrong road. Didn't mean to, upset anybody. And we're not going to sit down. And one of the things that they teach you when you're going into flying in these areas is you kind of don't want to just show weakness immediately, or at all really, because then they just like climb into you. They take full advantage. But now obviously things are getting a bit heated. And the guy back and forth just says, sit down, you're going to learn, sit down, you're going to learn. And next moment, I heard a cracking sound. I heard another cracking sound. And then I saw this mate of mine getting whipped. And then I realized I'd been whipped as well by a guy from behind. Whipped me. And then this mate of mine just pulled me down and just said, look.
But are you talking about, hang on, you're talking about a whip, like an Indiana Jones whip?
Like, like we had sjamboks in South Africa, like those black rubber sjamboks, pretty much like that, but it had like a bit more of a thicker leather strap on it. So he got hold of me and this mate of mine just pulled me down. And now obviously the guns are like drawn onto us. And these guys are getting like quite heightened, speaking in local and local Vadak. And we were just like, okay, this is not a really good situation. And one of these locals came, an older guy. They respect their elders quite a lot. There was something actually that I realized in Sudan, or that whole region. One of these local guys just came running and just said, which NGO I was working for at the time, just called it out. And he's like, where's your crew card? And just showed him the crew card. And he's like, get the fuck out of here. Like that was it. And myself and this guy were just like, okay, let's just get up. Kind of like you kind of like walking like all like briskly, but yeah, it's not fun.
You've told me the story before, but at that moment, because very few of us actually get to consciously deal with a life-threatening situation. I mean, I've been in car accidents and things, and you smell everything, you taste everything, you see everything in vivid 3D for the rest of your life when you know that it's that close to kind of death or massive ramifications. But when you're in this, I can only imagine the adrenaline is surging and you don't know what's going to happen, right? I mean, these guys could be on drugs, they could be really violent. This is a violent part of the world, and not in some play way. This is easily one of the most deadly places to find yourself. It's not as if any amount of talking can get you out of this. If that older guy hadn't come along, you'd probably either be dead or you would have been beaten to within an inch of your life.
Yeah, look, so that you're not thinking about as much as you can tell people, you should, but you're not thinking about the consequences at that point. At that kind of point, you're trying to de-escalate the situation, because it went initially, and I mean, this is a confession because you process it afterwards. I shouldn't have probably been as aggressive towards them in the beginning, because I thought, look, I haven't done anything wrong. This has been my mentality for years, but if I haven't done anything wrong, I'm a bit more, I wouldn't say abrasive, but a bit more comfortable to stand on my feet and say, no, this is not right. In that kind of situation, you actually just need to try to de-escalate the situation completely. And look, I mean, I've been hijacked in South Africa as well a couple of years ago. Also there, I think I was lucky enough just to try to de-escalate once I realized, look, this is going to get messy. So once we sat down, we just kind of go, okay, let's just take a step back, reset the situation and try to be calm, because these guys now, if you both get aggressive and they've got 7 AK-47s on you, like it's not exactly a fun place to be. You don't process it that quick enough in that kind of time. The adrenaline's pumping at the moment. You've got tunnel vision. You're just focusing on the one guy speaking to you. That's why you don't even see this guy coming from the side. So afterwards, like it takes you a couple of days to think, okay, that was pretty hairy. But yeah, look, when you fly in Africa like that, I think it is cut out for certain breeds of people. You learn to move on very quickly, because a lot of the places that we flew into in Sudan, Central African Republic especially, you land and there's armed guards all around the plane and all around the airport. And in some cases, you're leaving the engine running because if you do need a hightail out of there. So it is a stressful environment, and you kind of get used to it. So I wouldn't say it's something that you can do forever. And there are these guys that do it, but it's not something you want to start a family with and do forever.
Well, somebody here says, Nico says, you probably went for one bloody strong drink or 6 after that.
Well, I must be honest, I've never drank as much in my life as when I was on that kind of tour. So yeah.
Yeah. You've lost your drinking skills, though. I saw you briefly at a dinner that we had when you were out here last time, and you've definitely become less tequila fit than I had hoped you would stay. Hong Kong has been good for you in so many ways, but this is one thing I'm going to judge you on solidly.
I'm so glad you say this because this kind of like balances this like the partial heart attack that my mom's going through right now because she's like he nearly died, but he's actually a lot healthier.
So she can be proud that you're not a massive alcoholic.
Yeah, but dude, you know what? So you're right. Like I really have given up a hell of a lot of the partying. I mean, I've been trying to convince you to do high rocks, but listen. I'm still going to convince you. Don't worry about it. But yeah, from the drinking and the partying and stuff like that, especially with the role that I've taken on now with flying these aircraft and having to be responsible for 300 to 400 people at any given time across the Pacific Ocean. I just made the conscious decision that I can't afford to wake up any day of the week with a hangover and then I've got 400 people's lives, in my hand. And if something has to even remotely go wrong, you have to be awake for it.
No, you don't have to convince me. And frankly, I think it's better for the world that you don't drink as much as you used to because it's a lot less dangerous a place. Okay, so you've been flying now for Cathay Pacific for a while. You get to travel all over the world. You've seen so many places. First of all, there are probably people who are listening to us right now and watching who have been to Hong Kong before. But what are the coolest things about Hong Kong? Give us a like elevator pitch on why people have to go and visit Hong Kong, and then tell me about your favorite place outside of that because you really get the part of your job to see everywhere that you could possibly wish to see.
So Hong Kong is, without a doubt, one of the safest, cleanest places that you'll see in the world. It is, everything works. The public transport system is amazing. I mean, I was telling your producers just before we went live how this whole region, when I say everything works, it's just unbelievably efficient. We were talking about, I was listening to your daily briefing, I think yesterday or the day before, and you're talking about how the world, is going towards places or everybody just wants things to work. And, that's kind of what you want, right? And Hong Kong is one of those places. The food is phenomenal, dude. It's so clean. It's so healthy. And by the way, so I was dating a girl from Hong Kong. She kind of helped me have a bit of a soft landing, yeah. And she was kind of letting me in, and I'm willing to share this because we need it as well.
By the way, I mean, you guys were together for like a year almost.
Yeah, about like 9-10 months. So she really, it was literally as I got to Hong Kong.
I don't like to compliment my friends too much, but I think that was impressive. Not because it's difficult to date an attractive woman, but because the cultural differences and the fact that you were in a completely foreign place makes it a little bit more difficult than you have all the excuses in the world to like kind of. You're flying all over, you can focus on that. But I think it's a ballsy move to date a local, start to understand the personalities, the culture, the differences. I was very impressed when you told me that. I mean, I gave her a horrible nickname, but that's part of what being a friend. Yeah, that's part of what being a friend is all about, I suppose.
No, absolutely. But Josh, she helped me get that soft landing, yeah. And the food was the biggest, I wouldn't say like cultural shock, but it was something to get used to because in South Africa we're used to having these huge portions for ourselves in front of our face where we have like the steak and chips and everything like that. A very cool thing about Hong Kong and this whole Asian Western region, I suppose you can find it in some places in Europe as well, is that kind of tapas vibe, but the shared dishes in Asia is amazing because you'll have somebody that'll understand what this restaurant has to offer. They'll order about 6 to 10 dishes and everybody just gets to nibble on all these different flavors. So the food's been incredible in Hong Kong. And I must just reiterate, the safety thing for me has been a big eye-opener, especially coming from South Africa, dude. You get to leave your phone on a table, go order food like 30 meters away, and your phone is basically the placeholder for that's where somebody is sitting. And you come back, and
it's like the opposite.
And it's still the
opposite of here. I don't even leave my phone on the bench at the gym to prove that that's mine and that's where I'm busy because someone will pick it up and take it away.
No, it's but gone.
Yeah, listen. You posted a video of a self-driving car parking. Now I know many people in South Africa have tried these cars. That's not a new thing, but it was cool to watch it because you get out of the car. And then this thing alley docks into the parking, and you're not even in there. You've got nothing to do with it. It just does it all itself. It's very cool.
Do you know how many people that's when it initially started really working, how it like pissed off certain people when they would try like hold parkings and stuff like that, and the guy would be like, "Okay, cool, you've got the parking." Set the order park and walk away, and the car would automatically park. But it really is. So, obviously now being in Hong Kong, so Hong Kong and China, obviously, Beijing does have certain control over Hong Kong, but for the most part, they're separate regions, right? Hong Kong special administrative region. But I get access to go into. Well, so I'm going to tell you about the surveillance thing. So going into China, I've obviously got access to that. That's where you start seeing where technology is really, really pumping. Shenzhen, Guangzhou, where a lot of the made in China stuff comes from, Shanghai, all these places. You have all these self-driving cars, and yet the surveillance, right? Quite interesting about that. I asked one of the guys that lives in China, his wife, super interesting lady. She's one of the biggest exporters of Apple Watch straps in the world. Anyway, so I was speaking to this dude, and I'm like, listen, I come through the border, and I'm just seeing constant cameras. And when you're driving on the roads in China, you'll constantly see like flashes, like almost like lightning. It's not. It's the cameras taking photos of the car's number plates.
Wow.
I asked him, what's going on with all of these things? Like, is it constantly storing all this data and stuff? And he said, listen, no. What happens is their technology is so advanced that if you have a stolen vehicle or your face is recognized from stealing something and stuff like that, it goes into a central database, and their technology only looks for that face or for that number plates. So he told me an example of one of the malls. I don't know what these guys are thinking. He said they're probably foreigners. They broke into this mall. They broke into a jewelry store, and the people there were like, take more. Take as much as you want, because they know that as soon as they walk out of there, the facial recognition software that's running through China, the guys were caught like within a couple of hours, I think like 10 hours or something. And the more that you steal there, the longer your sentence, which was just quite interesting.
Sure.
But yeah, so
the downside of that, just by the way, the downside of that is that we know that there's a social credit system in mainland China, and that if you step over too many lines, and in South Africa, we're the best in the world at stepping over lines. It's one of the reasons I do love the place, as opposed to, the rules-based society like Australia or China, is that you don't have to let minor infractions. I'm not talking about people who commit serious crimes, but those minor infractions don't count against you living a normal life. So there are downsides and there are upsides to all of this, but certainly China is leading the way in that respect. Let's just go back to something I asked you a second ago, and then I want to move on to other things. All the places you've been, your favorite place to go. You've been to LA a couple of times. I have no time for LA, but you've had a good time there. New York, London. Where is your favorite place to go?
Yeah, so I mean, LA, very cool. I've had a couple of good experiences. I'm actually going there now in a month's time to go watch Rufus Du Sol and Ben Boma as part of one of the trips that I get to do, which is quite cool. So LA's been cool. Lake Como, man. So I flew to Milan. Our layovers in Milan are quite short. It's only like 30 hours or something like that. So you land immediately, and you got to catch a train further up to Como region. And I did this the one day, and nobody wanted to join me because, after a 12-hour flight, most guys are like knackered. I caught the train up, went and caught a boat onto Lake Como, and took a boat up to the tip of. So Lake Como kind of looks like an old peace sign, with a tip like that. And on the tip was an area called Bellagio, like the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas.
Yes,
and
that's where the name comes
they've got a whole
from.
bunch of. So they've got a whole bunch of restaurants and foods, and like little stalls and everything like that. It was just, I had this most amazing dish of pasta, this red wine, this vino, and it was just one of those special days where you can't describe it unless you're actually there. Which that's definitely up there. But every region, dude. I mean, I've traveled quite a lot to Australia. When I upgrade probably later this year, I'll be flying quite a lot in Asia, so I'll be seeing a lot of those places. Bali, Indonesia, that whole region is really quite special. I mean, it's like a flight to Durban for me, so it's also quite cool down the area. And I know what you're going to probably ask me. Bangkok is also quite special.
All right, now I've never been. Listen, for me, this is all amazing because I've never been east of Dubai. Really, I mean, I'm missing out on half the world. Everywhere I've traveled to, and I've been on all of the continents except Antarctica and Australia. But
Okay.
I'm missing half the world here. So a lot of these places I know nothing
Absolutely.
about. I don't know Bali. I don't know Indonesia. I don't know China. I don't know Japan. I mean, all of these places are massively mysterious and exciting.
So this is the thing is, and this is what I realized coming here, that because we're so exposed to Western media, we only know about, like you say, Europe, Americas, and you think that's the center of the world. Every country thinks, or every region, let me put it that way, thinks that they're the center of the world. And when I come here, so many things that we thought were important is like a non-event to most of Asia. You realize when there's a billion plus people, 300 million in America, a couple of 100 million in Europe, and 70 million in South Africa, it's a fraction of what these people are exposed to. So their celebrities, their cultural norms, their music, everything is so different, but it's so exciting. And I would, I don't want to sound like I'm, trying to sell tourism yet, but I would say to anybody, you have to come and experience what Asia has to offer, because you'll be surprised where we'll actually, as disciplined South Africans, relate to it more than anywhere in the Western world, because there's all this woke nonsense that's going on in the Americas. As with discipline, you actually fit into this environment. So I did certainly way more than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, but you,
we work hard. We work hard.
To give you the last little bit of credit, and then I'm going to stop. You're a pretty disciplined human being. I mean, you decided to give up an entire career, which was going very well, to do a totally different career. And you didn't just, I mean, for context, for those people who don't know you so well, you learned to fly planes, you learned to fly helicopters, you became an aerobat in planes. You also trained other pilots. I mean, these are not things that most people can get done in the amount of time that you did, and you spent every waking hour. I mean, you bored me to death one night. Luckily, I'd been drinking, but you bored me to death one night, showing me like the airflow over a wing and how it all works and what the vectors are. And I mean, I was pretending to pay attention, but I was so bored. By the way, our friend Basil says, you are like a retarded special needs elf on the shelf, and they should have shot you at that barricade.
Yeah. So I love him too. That's one of our best mates. That's the friendships. That's the friends that I have. Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely. These are the people that you actually want to see when you come back here. It's very odd.
These are the people that I spend time with when I come back to South Africa. I need new friends, really. But I appreciate it, dude. Sure. But I must be honest, and just to throw credit where credit's due as well. Spending time with the likes of like you and friends like Basil, you guys are all successful in your own right, and you start leveling up when you start spending time with people that are successful. You just come to realize, okay, cool. Well, I can't be the one that gets left behind. So a lot of that stuff was, I mean, you and I have been friends for, it'll be what, 20 years next year or around about there. I mean, I know.
Time to trade you in.
Dude, for a newer model, absolutely. So when you start spending time with people like you kind of, you're forced to level up. So it's a massive credit to you as well for just being a good mate.
Okay, so how much like day-to-day stuff that you have to do is totally unrelated to your work? I mean, you obviously, you get some time off, you get to travel a bit. So when you're in these cities, what do you do in Hong Kong if you're not flying? And let's say you have a whole week where you might not be flying. Yeah. What are you doing? Yeah,
so this is... So obviously the fitness journey has been quite a big thing for me, and getting back into health, especially because with this career, it really is one of the most taxing and one of the most demanding careers out there. People think it's all lackadaisy and you're sitting in a cockpit for 12, 13 hours, but the jet lag, the sleep deprivation, the diet, constantly eating food from around the world, it really is quite taxing on the body. So I've been focusing on fitness quite a lot. The High Rocks journey, I mean, we can get into it. It's been quite a special journey for me, and it's changed my life quite a bit. Or just the fitness side of things as well. And then, interestingly enough, now that I was talking to a mate about this yesterday, now that I've got a bit more time on my hands, and I've always enjoyed the DJing side of things and producing side of things. So I'm actually getting back into producing some music just to keep the brain busy. I'm learning piano and guitar. I'm learning piano and guitar at the moment. So. Yeah, I know. So it's been quite cool to, when I do have these off times now, to get back into some hobbies that I have actually always enjoyed, but I was kind of forced to do those late night gigs till 3 o'clock in the morning. Now to actually on my own accord go and produce some music. and release it on Spotify and SoundCloud. It's been quite cool. And then trading. If you speak to any international long haul pilots, they'll probably tell you I got into some trading at some point. That's kind of the phase that I'm going through at the moment, just to where to place the money and stuff like that. And with what's going on with the oil prices and stuff like that, it's a pretty good time to get into trading. What's the nickname of the ex you gave Gareth?
Your ex in Hong Kong.
Well, listen, China's always watching these things, so I'd probably not say it, because either I'm going to get kicked out of the country, or you would never be allowed here. No, it wasn't anything bad.
No, I actually said it to her face, and she thought it was quite funny when you brought her here for a visit.
Oh, was it Ling Ling?
No, I called her Titlahan.
Yeah.
All right.
She took it as a good joke, which was good.
Barely Vocal Radio says, Alex, I'll make you a custom aviation headset, much better than those big headphone comms.
Dude, so interestingly, when you're inside the cockpits, we have relatively smaller ones, not like the big ones that I'm used to using with noise cancellation and everything like that. But inside the cockpit, after 15,000 feet, we go. It's called speakers and headsets. It's the common phrase that we use amongst the pilots. And you take those headsets off and you turn the speaker up in the cockpit, because it's quiet enough to be able to hear the radio, from other ATC, air traffic controllers, or other aircraft. What's interesting though is, when you're flying over the Pacific Ocean, you don't realize how big the Pacific Ocean is. I mean, you can look at it on a map and you think it's big. I mean, it's the biggest ocean, obviously. But when you're flying over there from Hong Kong to Los Angeles, and you're flying over it for 10, 11, 12 hours straight at 800 kilometers an hour, it's just a whole different ballgame. We still use HF frequency, which is a frequency band that they've been using since World War II, back in the day, to communicate over those large regions, because that's the only frequency band that can actually get that far into the ocean. So at that point, we sometimes have to put the headphones on to actually hear what the guys are saying. Besides that, we don't use headphones really, except for crucial phases of flight, critical phases of flight.
Well, there's some of those satellite pictures and pictures from further out than most satellites even go, that they take of the Earth, and if you take it from a certain position, it just all looks blue. There's no land visible. So, I mean, the Pacific is just phenomenal and monstrous.
There's a point in the middle of the Pacific, just on a fun fact. There's a point in the middle of the Pacific called Point Nemo, which when you're at that point, the closest people to you are those that are flying overhead of the International Space Station. Just for reference on how far the nearest piece of land is to when you're in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Like the nearest people to your survival are flying overhead in space. It's massive.
Wow. Okay, so how hard is it? I've never asked you this before. How hard is it to move away from your friends, your family, the people that you really know and love, and go to a place that is that far away and take on a career that I mean, this is a commitment. It's not something that you can go, oh, well, I'm going to do this for 5 years and then I'll see.
No.
When you decide to do this, it's like a career until you're 50, 60 years old. This is what you're going to do. So you are making a commitment for 20 plus years at least. And that is, again, not to blow smoke up your ass, but I think that's probably a tougher thing to do than most people realize. And you must get lonely and in the beginning a bit bored, because it's all work. And it's not like South Africa culture-wise. It's not as if you can just go and meet new people somewhere. And you probably have met lots of people in Hong Kong and while you've been traveling, but it's different, right? I mean, it's a totally strange, foreign thing to do.
So I've spoken to a couple of people about this, and I think I'm quite lucky,
including your psychologist and your counselor and your social worker,
and like the 6 other personalities that you've met.
Yeah. That's just you have all 6 of those personalities. Let's just be clear.
Yeah. So I'm lucky in twofold, I think. One, I think the fact that I got to go from South Africa, flying up in Africa, in these remote regions where you're isolated in this prefab building with 2-3 other guys. You can't go out. You inside these like really isolated areas. I think that was a good introduction to being away from home. And so that when I did actually do the move in 2024 up to Hong Kong, it wasn't like a massive shock to the system that I'm going to be away from home, because I was away from home for like 3-4 months at a time, back home for a month, and then away again. So I think that I'm very lucky in that sense. And then the other sense is, if I can say myself, I've got a pretty strong mindset in the sense that, like, if I commit to something, which you've mentioned, and a couple of other people that I worked with, once I commit to something, I'm a bit of a stubborn asshole where I'm just like, I will get it right. I will do it. And once I made the commitment and the decision to go for it, because like you said, flying long haul, flying international, and getting to a legacy airline like Cathay, it's a 15 to 20 year commitment that you've got to make a decision, because if you're going to get to captain, which is the top of the top, and I want to get to a training captain level where you're training other captains on a long haul level, it's a 20 year commitment that you've got to do. So you've got to focus on your health and everything. But once I've made that decision, I think luckily my personality, just the way that I've been wired by my parents, especially my dad has always told me, whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. I made the commitment. I was just like, I will do it. So yeah, it is a culture shock, and it is difficult, and not everybody can do it. But I would recommend everybody at some point in their life, leave your hometown. That's the way that you grow. Go travel, go do something.
Yeah, no, I love it. I really am impressed with that stuff. Okay, so have you learnt any of the local language, Cantonese? Have you learnt any Mandarin? Are you able to speak any of that shit yet?
I'm busy learning Mandarin at the moment. So it's easier for me to start hearing the words than pronounce it, because the difference between Cantonese and Mandarin is the same difference between English and Zulu, just for some form of context. Cantonese has 9 different tones and Mandarin has 4. So there may be some words that are maybe the same, but for the most part, they're completely different languages. So wow, I figured I would learn Mandarin first, and then I'd try get into Cantonese. But yeah, dude, how cool is this, right? So I was speaking to one of the local captains that I'm flying with. By local, I mean she's from Hong Kong. And I was telling her, no, look, I'm busy learning Mandarin. And she's like, well, you're busy learning Mandarin simplified or traditional? And I'm like, what do you mean simplified or traditional? And she's like, well, so traditional Chinese goes back thousands and thousands of years, right? Closer towards the 20th and the 21st century, the Chinese ruling party, or I don't know if it was the ruling party or like the folks that were in power at the time, to bring up the education level of communities that were in rural areas, they simplified Chinese by also like maybe doing less like patterns and stuff like that on the characters. And a lot of the characters are actually picture based. So you'll see like I can try to draw it now, but a flame, for example, or anything hot will have a certain Chinese character. They made all of that easier, and that became simplified Chinese or simplified Mandarin. And that's what became popular in all these rural areas in China, which I thought was quite cool. But yeah, so to answer the question, learning Mandarin, not any good yet.
No, you'll get there, knowing you. All right, I want you to see what is happening in South Africa, because you obviously are out of touch. One of the big trends that is taking place is that estate agents now think they are content creators. Okay, so they're putting stuff out every week. I get mostly from people in the audience. I get a clip of some embarrassing, humiliating recording that some fucking person who sells houses for a living is now posting on the internet in an attempt to make themselves a brand, because everybody's now a brand. And this is so unnecessary because it's now got utterly ridiculous. So you think, and anybody who's seen the other clips over the last couple of weeks, months even, these are pretty awful, but this has got to be scraping the barrel, lowest of the low. I don't even know whether this person is maybe taking the piss, and it's hard to tell because it's so bad, right? Take a look at this. And then all I want you to tell me is whether or not you would buy a house from this person. Are you ready?
Bring it on.
Hi, everyone. I'm Charmaine from Just Property Heritage. I'm here today, as you can see, at James and Ethel Gray Park. admiring the scenery, admiring the birds. Look at all these wonderful birds. And also enjoying the doggies. Making sure to get my steps in, and I eat my berries. Goji berries, blueberries, blackberries, cranberries, and strawberries. Remember to call me now to sell your property in the quickest amount of time.
I can't
Dude.
take much more of that. Wow.
So two things. One, all the budget went into that video production because she's only got one earring on. Don't know if you noticed that. So all of the budget, she couldn't afford the other earring, and she's guaranteed to still be. She's drunk. That's why she's leaning on that pole like a stripper. Like she's absolutely, dude.
So-
she's got to be taking the piss.
I have two observations. The first one is the music is so bad and so porno. It sounds like porn music. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-dum,
She's
bum,
used,
ba-dum,
dude.
ba-dum.
You know what she did in her previous life? That's why she's using that pole. Like it's a
Well, let's
guarantee.
not cast aspersions on this poor woman's character. The other thing I got to observe is I dated a girl probably about 15 years ago, and she's going to look exactly like that if she doesn't already. Because, you know, they're like the heavy eye makeup and all that weird shit. But it is bizarre how she's like holding on to the sign. I think I don't think she's probably
It's gonna be a joke.
pulling the wool over her eyes. I think she's not really. I mean, this is just, she's seeing how bad she can make it. She's like, okay, you guys all think you can make the worst video. I'll beat you to it. She's like a self-conscious trickster. I don't think
Dude,
it is possible.
I don't know. I'm living that healthy lifestyle at this stage. I might just buy that place to get some berries too.
Yes. She loves birds. Come on, says Christian. She loves birds.
No, dude. So this is what everybody's doing now. Is everybody becoming oh, come on.
Yeah. I don't understand. Somebody has to explain to me how that sells more properties. I don't like, surely you've got to go back to basics at some point and go, how is this going to help me do my business? It doesn't.
Well, listen, we're speaking about it. That's the reality, because remember, all these fitness influencers went to go be what do you call it, real estate agents in Dubai. We're not talking about them anymore because we know what they're doing in Dubai. But now the ones that are here in South Africa, I mean, we're talking about it. So
no, you're probably right.
You wouldn't be surprised if she probably made a sale.
No, you're probably right. Fundo says, gee, did you see the trending video of the Zulu monarch drunk and swearing yesterday? It's bad. No, please send it to me. Is that King Misuzulu? Because if he was behaving badly, I mean, listen, you know, monarchy used to be this thing. We didn't know a lot about them, and every public appearance used to be very well coordinated and set up and spun, and the media were in on it, and they all kind of supported whoever this person was. So we got a manufactured version of them. There are no ways and means anymore of trying to present yourself in an inauthentic way and getting away with it like before. It just doesn't happen. And these people are people. I mean, you know, no one in the world wants to be around Harry and Meghan. And at one point when they got married, they were probably the most famous people in the world. And there were probably millions of people who would have loved to have spent 5 minutes with them. Now, their own friends, in inverted commas, in Hollywood don't want to be anywhere near them. They're like toxic.
Yeah, dude, but you know, I was thinking about this. I was thinking about this morning as well, because weirdly enough, I was watching, I don't know how, I was watching the UFC press conference because Conor McGregor, Max Holloway fight this weekend. And I was thinking about like authenticity. I was thinking about this authenticity thing because like Conor McGregor, he's been, so I mean, I know it's a segue now from the monarchy that you're talking about, but this authenticity thing is a real thing. You cannot be fake online anymore because it will come through. Conor McGregor has been kind of doing this whole religious thing at the moment where he's talking about God and how Jesus is living through him and everything like that. After he's been doing copious amounts of other extramural activities and clubs and stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know if it's a front, not maybe he's legitimately like that. But at this press conference, his real self came through. The authentic Conor McGregor came through. And you must see the difference. It's like day and night. You cannot be fake online anymore. You cannot be fake in these videos or in front of people. Authenticity, there's just no time for it. There's no time for it anymore.
Yeah, and I'm pleased. I'm okay with that. I don't want these manufactured personalities. I don't want people who have a team looking after their brand anymore. I think that you just got to be who you are. And if that helps you, great. If it doesn't help you, then maybe there's a reason that people don't want to deal with you. You know, I think all of that's massively important. Basil says,
yeah.
please tell us more about Hyrox. It's so riveting.
Listen, okay, so Basil is this friend of ours. You should actually probably do it because he put on about 40 kg. So anyway, listen, I know you're not a big fan of it. It's obviously taken over most parts of Asia, a lot of parts of the Americas and Europe. Here's my argument for it. I know it's very culty. I'm not even going to remotely deny it. Culty like CrossFit and gym and so many other things, but especially
Basil,
for guys.
I hate you. Now look what you've done. Now he's on a roll about Hyrox. This is excellent.
No, I'm on a roll.
Fuck,
listen,
this is all I've ever wanted. This is my favorite Friday show
for guys
ever.
over 35. Listen, especially guys over 35. It's not anymore about trying to build these huge ass muscles and look like these Baywatch oaks and beach balls that are walking on the beach. It's now all about longevity. And I'm a big advocate for the fact that if guys can get into the gym and go run 8 kilometers, even run a kilometer, and you're trying to build up longevity, you're trying to be healthy, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, Hyrox, fucking Hyrox. I'm a fan of anything that's to do with fitness at the moment because of that longevity. We're getting older, dude. We have to stay fit and healthy. And I've said to you, it's good to see you in the gym. It's good to see you in the gym. Now I want to see you run a kilometer or do 8. Come and join me. Come and do an Hyrox.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I just dozed off for a second there.
No, but the big thing as well is something that I'm working on. I don't want to reveal too much at the moment, but I'm working with a personal trainer here in Hong Kong with regards to longevity for pilots, and because it's a big thing here. Our job.
So this is interesting because someone mentioned in the comments earlier, you guys are exposed to far more radiation than anyone else.
Yeah.
Because you're up in the the higher regions of the atmosphere where there's less density of atmosphere and less layers to protect you from solar radiation. But also that constant traveling. I mean, you get ordinary people who get blood clots and all kinds of problems, leg circulation issues. But you have to be if you don't look after yourself, it's going to go really, really badly. But I just have to say, I'm so sorry, says Basil, that I brought that up. It was the worst interview I've ever had to see. I'm so sorry that we got him onto Hyrox, and I couldn't agree more with that.
I think when I'm back in South Africa again, Basil and I need to come on the show at the same time and just iron this out. That'll be a fun show.
No. Well, I'll get Basil on one day on his own, and he and I will just talk about what a useless shit you are. That's enough. We will regale people with all the best stories about you.
I'll definitely listen to that episode. But dude, you're right. So with this traveling, you got to take it with a pinch of salt as well what some of these people are saying, because I listened to this guy called, I didn't listen to him, but I follow him on Instagram, Brian Johnson. He's all about longevity.
He's the one who wants he's the guy who wants to live forever. He's done blood transfusions from his son. I mean, his poor son. That his son is like a laboratory for him to harvest shit from. He's basically taking his son's blood. He's taking his stem cells. This kid is just like a farm.
Dude, he said, I must actually try to find the quote if I can quickly find it, but he wasn't said something crazy like, if you do more than 4, hold on. Jet lag increased my biological age by 13 years. And he says, you can't do more than, what is it, Jay? He says something crazy like you can't do more than 4 long haul trips a year. And you pretty much will die. No exact words, but that's pretty much what he said. And I was like, dude, stop talking crap, because we're literally doing long haul flights. I mean, sometimes some of the captains here are doing, I want to, but I won't live forever. That's fine. But some of these guys are doing 5, 6 long haul flights and across time zones, and none of these guys are pegged. They just, when I hear guys like this, I'm like, just take a back seat and just don't generalize in those kind of things. But it is important to stay healthy. I completely agree with that.
All right, now tell me about Bangkok.
So I'm convinced Bangkok is the sex capital of the world, right?
Oh,
So
fuck.
for those that haven't been, Bangkok and Phuket, there's a lot of look. So there's a lot of Russians that come down because Thailand and Phuket's one of the only places that like they can still get a visa to come for. So you'll find a lot of Russians there, and there's a lot of the fighting and stuff like that. But it's quite ratchet in some of these places. But anyway,
Yeah, and they want to escape
Phuket-
having to be drafted for the war.
Yeah, no, well, 100%. So Bangkok and Phuket are arguably, in my opinion, sex capital of the world, because it was my first time that I went there. I went on a golf trip with some mates, and I can, it was a golf trip.
Golf trip. Yeah, sure.
So I've proudly, I can honestly say, never ever had to pay for sex or anything sexual related. It's like I think my parents raised me correctly. And anyway, these guys that I go with, a little bit naughty.
This all changes the dynamics of the story now that we know your mum is listening. And I've done enough to embarrass you in front of your mum. I don't want, if your mum's listening, maybe you should just cut the story here.
Nah, it's fine. I'll tell my mum anyway, because she'll be proud that nothing happened. So I go to Bangkok, and these guys are like, listen, there's different areas of Bangkok that are quite provocative. So it's like Soy Cowboy and Nana Square and all these different regions where it's pretty much brothels and strip clubs, and it's quite open. So these guys are like, we're going to show you what Bangkok's all about. I'm like, not really keen, but okay, let's go for it. Let's go for the flow. Go with the flow. So we go to this one strip joint, and these guys are like, listen, we know you've never paid for anything like this, but we're going to get you a girl. Choose one. And I'm like, Oaks, that's really not my vibe. Like, I'm really not gonna, I'm not gonna go for this. And they're like, listen, just choose one else. We're gonna choose one for you. So I'm like having a couple of drinks, blah blah blah. I'm like, listen, well that chick's kind of pretty. Got tattoos, got like tongue rings. She's like, I mean, she was. I'll admit it, she wasn't bad. So the guys are like, you know what? It's done. It's on. We're getting her for you. I'm like, Oaks, that's not what I meant. Don't do this. Like, we are getting her for you. So they call her over. They call the mistress over, because all these girls have got these mistresses that you've got to communicate with them first. Madam, they're kind of like, sorry. The mistress is the subject, the madam.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So they're like, no, well, they speak to the madam. They're like, listen, this guy, he's never done something like this. You've got to give a good price, blah, 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 blah. So they organize some kind of deal or whatever. And I'm like, admittedly, constantly saying, guys, don't do this. Anyway, they organize, transaction happens. They're like, cool, peace out, we're leaving. I'm like, now you're going to leave me with these people? What must I do? So I'm having drinks. I've got no intention to leave the club with this girl. But anyway, having a couple of drinks. Next moment, I'm having a conversation. This girl goes quiet. And she like just looks up, and she's staring at another girl walking like past the table. And I'm like, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? She's like, I really don't like that girl. I'm like, okay, like, I mean, okay, no issues. The girl comes back, and they start like having words with each other in Thai. And I'm like, I can see things are getting heated. This girl stands up from the chair. She elbows the other girl in the face, like knocks her clean out with a clean elbow. I'm like, what is going on right now? I'm like, is this normal? They like doing Muay Thai and like they like fighting, but is this a normal night in Thailand? These chicks start getting into a fight. The chick's knocked out, so other girls come in and jumping. It's like 5 or 6 girls just like getting into this massive brawl. The bouncers are not getting involved. I see the madam running over. She like pushes me away from the table. She gives me the money back, and she's like, you can leave. I don't think it's your night tonight. I mean, I hightailed out of there, but I was like, what the hell is going on? Bangla Road, yes, it's wild. So this was my first experience, and this is why I will never pay for something like that, because it was just like God's way of saying to me, mate, don't go down that road.
Okay, well,
so, yeah,
that story didn't go the way I thought it would, but well done. You observed some female on female violence. Of course, you don't know the gender of the person in places like that, because they're all those lady boys.
No, you can tell, dude. So look, granted, so you walk down this one road. It's called Soy Cowboy. So soy is like road, so Cowboy Road. It's got all these bars and everything like that. And a lot of these girls, lady boys, are standing outside, and they try to drag you in. And they're quite strong, eh? So like you walking down the road, and they'll literally try to pull you in. And I'm not the biggest of dudes. Like, I know I'm training and everything like that, but they're strong. And you're like, okay, cool, that's definitely a guy. Like, you know that for sure.
You must come in.
But so, and but like you can kind of see, dude. You look at the Adam's apple, and I know this sounds weird. I hate feet, but you can kind of see their feet. Their feet are huge, and you're like, okay, you know that's a dude. So just look down, like go past, because a lot of them they've had okay. I'll tell you another thing. So I'm flying with a local captain. He's like, look, if you ever go to Thailand, there's 2 ways to check, if it's a lady boy or not. It's like the one way, obviously, you got to check for the Adam apple, but
Adam's apple,
the Adam's apple. He
but
says,
they're getting that shaved down. They're getting that shaved down.
They're getting that shaved down.
Oh.
You're getting that shaved down. And he says, even if you like go all the way, like there's ways to like lube things up, right? So even that you can't check anymore. Unless there isn't lube, then it obviously doesn't kind of work together. But then he said the only other way, and this is guaranteed, you have to ask them for an ID, because on the ID it'll say male or female. They can't change that. They're not allowed to.
Well,
so
Basil wants
Basil
wants you to prove that you aren't a lady boy.
Yeah. So
all right,
that's a story for another.
Just quickly, I do have to throw.
Yeah.
I have to throw in this story. You've probably heard it, Alex, but I don't think I've told it on the show before. I went to lunch with a then girlfriend's dad, and his friend had just got back. These are guys at this stage in their 60s, and his one friend had just got back from the full moon party in Phuket or whatever, and my then girlfriend's dad says, "Go on, tell Gareth the story of your trip to Phuket and the full moon party." So he goes, "Oh no, I don't think I want to tell that story. Actually, I think it's quite embarrassing." You're like, "Come on, tell me a story." So anyway, he eventually, I'm not naming names here on purpose, but he goes, "All right, I suppose I'll tell the story." I mean, this is an old English guy, and he goes, "Well, I went to this party and I got rather drunk. I ended up taking a girl back to my hotel, and she was very attractive. But when we got to the hotel, I discovered that she had an enormous cock." So I said, and what happened then? He goes, "Well, I'm afraid by then the train had rather left the station."
Yeah.
So this is
There's
the
some
thing
guys
that
that
English
are fine with it,
tourists
dude.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, Australian
That's a
as
real
well.
thing.
Like there's a lot of Australian guys.
Mhm.
Like Bali's amazing. I would also, I'd recommend to anybody if they come visit me in Hong Kong, travel to Bali. There's a massive party vibe, but there's also like a whole wellness retreat that people can do and stuff like that in all these different areas. But these Australian
Please don't start
guys,
in
they
High
love
Rocks
going there.
again, please. All right,
No,
listen.
I'm not. Yeah.
I've enjoyed catching up with you publicly, and next time you're in South Africa, we'll do something in person on the show. And look after yourself. Don't fly too close to the sun, Icarus, and we will catch up shortly. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for the chats, and I'm enjoying these daily briefings that you're doing. Thanks for keeping me in touch with
Thank you.
South Africa. It's good. Nice segments,
Thank
and
you.
looking forward to hearing what Mo has to say after this. Ask Mo, by the way.
Yes.
Tall as Mo, about the time
Yes.
where Anele nearly killed me in studio.
Oh, but didn't Anele almost kill you at a Andicchio's Pizza once as well?
No, that she nearly killed our friend Tiger because he gave me the beating of a lifetime. So that was
really?
a story for another day. But
I heard
yeah.
you got beaten up by Anele in an Andicchio's. That's what I heard.
No. It was in the studio, dude. It was in the studio because I pulled a prank on her where I swore live on air.
Okay, so I'll ask Tall Ass Mo about that later. But you have an excellent. What is it now? Midday.
1 p.m. in the afternoon. Yeah.
Okay, have fun, dude. I'll catch up with you soon.
All right. Thanks for the chat. Bye.
Thanks, Brute. Bye. There we go. There's Alex Caige. Sorry, some of that was probably not the stuff you wanted to wake up to this morning, but there we go. I want to turn our attention now to a far more interesting human being than Alex. His name is Kevin Pillay, and he has spent 25 years, this man, in automotive, travel, and financial services. So he's worked at Avis, Fidelity, Sanlam. He now heads up corporate sales at Woodford Car Hire, which I have seen and I have heard of, and I think I've used you guys once or twice before when I was in either Cape Town or Durban or both. But it's a great pleasure to have you on. It's time for the window seat. And here is Kevin Pillay. Hey, Kevin. I'm sorry you had to live through Alex's interview as well. That must have been very, very scarring for you.
I actually had quite a lot of fun listening to it. In fact, Alex, if you could share a couple of those names, that would be awesome. Not for me, just for a few buddies, because my mom's also listening to this. So,
oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna keep both of us out of trouble then. So, all right, let's talk about what we do on the window seat for people who are new to this. Is we talk about travel, we talk about tourism. It's a massive part of the South African economy. It's a hugely important part of our economy because it generates massive amounts of GDP. Obviously, in South Africa, we're discovering new and creative ways to travel locally and internationally. But you guys are you're not the first name, maybe yet, but you will be, that pops into people's heads when they think of car hire. But you do a lot more than that. Tell us a little bit about the origins of the company and where Woodford comes from and what exactly your positioning is, because I think it's useful for people to know this stuff.
Yeah, so I think it's important to realize of where Woodford started. I mean, the company was founded in 1957, literally in very humble beginnings, in a little place called Woodford Grove in Durban, just off Mgeni Road, not far from where I am right now.
I know exactly where that is.
That's how they are. So that's how the name came about. So our founder was Mr. Suleiman. He started the business, Gareth, with literally 2 vehicles. And fast forward just over 35 odd years now, and proud to say that we have a massive fleet. The company has really grown. What's interesting to know is that just about 3 years ago, we signed a franchise agreement with actually the largest car rental company globally, which is known as Enterprise.
Right.
So we operate this brand, which is Enterprise and Woodford. But Woodford is now actually probably one of the largest privately owned car rental companies in South Africa. We're proud BE level 1.
Wow.
And yeah, so there's a lot happening. I've joined the company just 3 years ago. Like you mentioned, I was with a different car rental company, and then I decided to change fields, moved around. COVID taught us a very hard lesson. So most of us had to find different ways of putting food on the table. And then I found my way back to car rental, and it's been amazing. I think working with a private organization, there's that loop of flexibility that you can have where we don't just want to treat customers like customers. We have that personal touch with them. And the nice thing about working with a private company is that we touch our customers in like we sit down with them, we engage with them. We don't treat them like a number. And people love and appreciate that today. They don't want to just be a number anymore.
Isn't it true that in any business, the difference and the part of the value exchange that you can't really quantify is that personal relationship? And I know that you work with a lot of our friends at Tourvest, and you guys are actually part of the Tourvest group, which is an amazing and powerful and extraordinary success story in South Africa. But for ordinary customers, what has been happening in the world of car hire? You know, we've spoken to people who market and run airlines, and that business is so competitive and the margins are so thin, and you have to really think outside of the box and come up with totally new and creative ideas to be able to market yourselves. How hard is it in the world of car hire? Because these days, of course, you're not just competing with other car hire groups, but you're competing with Uber, you're competing with people whose granny's going to fetch them from the airport. You're competing with people who are doing very different things. They're hiring like supercars for the weekend if they've got lots of money, or they're walking if they've got no money. So you're competing with everybody.
Absolutely. And I think the most important thing to realize is that you have to stay relevant all the time. I mean, do you want to compete with every different competitor, so to say? Do I want to go head to head with the likes of Uber? Maybe, maybe not. What I will do is I will put forward my offering, and I will sell my offering in the best way possible. Let's unpack that a little bit. So if you look at, let's talk about the airlines, because airlines is a big one, right? Apart from the car rental, which we all compete with, we all rent cars, we all have rental locations, all of our staff dressed in this wonderful uniforms. They all speak friendly and politely. You have to be able to separate yourself. So if you look at the different segments within the car rental competitors, what do I offer a corporate customer that's really going to tick off those pain points that they're currently experiencing with somebody else. So I'll tackle that on one issue. If I look at a leisure customer, and especially with the fuel price increase, and flights have increased quite abruptly, right? The flight costs have gone insane. So I want to market that being saying to you, Gareth, listen, you've got 4 people that you want to travel to Joburg, or coming from Joburg, you want to come to Durban with. Just hop into a Woodford vehicle. We'll make it fun for you. And we'll take away some of those pain points that you don't have to pay a one-way fee between Durban and Joburg, or we'll cut down the cost on your mileage. We'll give you more mileage so that you're not paying more and paying more and paying more. Suddenly you have this wonderful road trip that's not 45 minutes long. It's actually 6 hours long, but we'll suggest little spots that you stop along the way so that you make it eventful. You make it memorable for the family. You know what I mean? So
tell me, what kind of pressure is there on you guys and on everyone else in your sector of the industry to keep a massive inventory of different vehicles? Because it used to be back in the old days, and I'm aging myself here by saying this, but it used to be that everyone had Nissan Almiras, Toyota whatevers, and they looked the same. They're all white or silver, and they had cloth seats, and obviously things have changed an enormous amount since then. But I remember when I used to DJ all over the country, I would always get a car, and that gave me the freedom to be able to travel wherever I wanted to, get to the hotel, go and do the things I wanted to do, see the people I wanted to see, do the work I had to do, and get back to the airport the next day. And I became pretty good at it, but I guaranteed myself every time I knew exactly what kind of car I was going to get. That's obviously not how it is anymore, right?
Not anymore. Look, the market demands different things and people have different preferences, right? But fortunately, you didn't say things like a VW Golf Chico, because then I'd know exactly how old you are, right? But
is that even older?
because at one stage, that was all, that was the car of car rental, right? If you had a VW Golf Chico, everybody wanted it, because at some point, listen, we're South Africans, and South Africans knew how to disconnect the mileage cable so they could drive around and not be charged for the additional mileage and stuff like that. It was insane. There's a lot of stuff that happens in car rental that people will never believe if I start telling you. When a customer rents a car, there's potential of so much more to happen to that car before it gets back to us. But anyway, that's a story for another day. In terms of preferences, Gareth, we got to cater for the masses. So you'll know that the Chinese brands have flooded our market, and people are loving it because it comes with all of the bells and whistles versus your standard car. So here at Woodford, we have to say that our founder was he was very, very committed into the Toyota brand. So we still house probably like 60% of our fleet is still Toyota. We've got an amazing relationship with them, not to say we don't have with the other OEMs. So if I did say anything otherwise, please scratch it off the record.
No, but I mean, listen, you can. There's a reason that Toyota has the brand recognition it does, the kind of reliability and safety aspect of things, and also for most people, it's convenience. I'm curious though. You opened this can of worms. Now you have to tell us. I met with a friend on Friday. I hadn't caught up with him for a long time. He told me he apart from all of his businesses that I already knew about, he also runs a car wash. And he said, you cannot believe the state that some of these people bring their own personal vehicles into his car wash. He said this one woman had a layer of crumbs and shit in her car, this thick. And she wouldn't pay the extra 700 Rand to have it cleaned because she's like, no, there's nothing wrong with my car. Yeah, just disgust. People are disgusting. And we all know that there's that horrible adage. I hope it's not true, but people go, you drive it like a rental car. That people have no respect. And I'm sure that while there are lots and lots of good customers and you will extol their virtues, there are also those people who you need to put in their place. And I love using this show as an opportunity for you to vent and for other people in various services businesses to vent about how badly behaved some people are, how revolting the cars are when they return them to you. Take away packets and things I expect, but there's probably worse, right?
Well, there's a lot worse. Should I just quickly take off my jacket?
Yeah. Go. No, I want to hear it.
So there's the element of cleanliness. I mean, that goes without saying. I mean, people will rent a vehicle. Naturally, it's not there. So we end up picking a lot of stuff that we shouldn't have to from the inside of a car. And some of the stuff is horribly disgusting. I'm not going to mention the details of the size of packaging and the stuff that's still in the packaging. So we leave that one out. But people still leave bottles, and yeah, the car is just in an overall filthy condition. I think it's the same principle with the hotel room. When people check out, I'm one of those guys that will still dress my bed or make up my bed before I leave the room. It's just me and it's in my nature. But I think the bigger thing for us is, like you said, how they drive the vehicles, because they want to be speed freaks. Again, it's not theirs. They want to do donuts in the car parks. And the sad thing is that, remember, car rental companies, most of us are not insured. Most of the fleet is not insured. So we offer the customer an opportunity to go and take a waiver, which then means to them, I've got a security deposit held on my car for 5,000 rand. So no matter what I do to this car, I'm only going to pay 5 grand and I'm going to get away with it. Okay. So luckily for us at Woodford, we've got a very smart intelligent system called Record 360. So what Record 360 does is that we can use a smartphone or a tablet, and we record the vehicle on video and we take photographic evidence of it. So when Gareth comes to get his car, we'll say to him, listen, Gareth, we've pre-inspected the vehicle, but just make sure that you check it before you take it, because maybe Kevin took a car next to you and Kevin's 12 kids opened the door onto yours. So we just want to make sure you're happy. So like 100. And then what we'll do is we'll send Gareth the video clips and the photos to say, Gareth, we've given you the car in this condition. So here you go. And then Gareth comes back and he's got 50 million dents on the car. The bumper's missing and he's got the biscuit tire on, and he says, but it wasn't me. I didn't do this. And then we'll say to him, but Gareth, funny thing that because we've got this video and photos that we sent to you when you took the car, and that car was in pristine condition. So sadly, we're going to hold you liable to pay for the damages. That's one part of it, Gareth. The other sad part is that we do live in, and like you're saying, there are some naughty people out there who will use it as an opportunity to service their own cars at home. So they will rent a vehicle from you, from a car rental, and literally strip the car rental company for tires and wipers and spare tires.
You are kidding me. People do that?
I kid you not, my friend. It actually happens. There is so much in this industry that we go through. We go through vehicle accidents daily. We go through cars being stolen daily, cars being hijacked all the time. I mean, we've got tracker systems on our cars, but it doesn't stop them from still targeting car rental vehicles, smash and grabs. So it's not all the glory. I mean, some of our customers really go through traumatic experiences, and we try to do everything possible for them. We have a team of specialized guys that we go out and we say to them, we give that command, go recover. And so they fully kitted up with their masks on, and they got these, they go out and they recover for us, and they go and help customers.
So you have to plan for the worst and expect the best. I mean, obviously some clients are terrific. They'll use the car, it'll get back to you. I always used to think it was a matter of pride and principle to refill the car when you return it. Do people still do that?
Well, a lot of them still do that, because when you don't do that, the car rental industry, we charge you what we call a refueling fee. It's a small fee just to then top up your vehicle. But I think the general masses will then go and top up the vehicle themselves, so they avoid being charged that. But if this segment will need to be a lot longer for me to unpack all the details that we see here in car rental. We have
so now I've forced you to talk about those aspects, which are fascinating, because these are things nobody else talks about, and it does give, I think, all of us a little bit of insight, and maybe even provide us with the basis for some sympathy when it comes to, maybe we'll all be a little more responsible and thoughtful when we hire a car from Woodford in the future. But tell us quickly about, besides the service aspect of things, which I absolutely take your word for, what else are the major USPs, the unique selling points of Woodford? Go ahead and extol the virtues of your company so that we can all think about you when we go from airport to home, from home to work, wherever we need to be. Tell us about the best things.
Okay, so Woodford, again, privately owned, Durban-based company, and I know my CEO will shut me down for saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway because I love saying this. We almost operate like a Durban business, and I'm not going to say any more than that because I'll get into trouble for that. But we make a plan, Gareth. When you deal with larger corporate companies, there's so many corporate ladders to climb, so much of red tape to cut through. But with us, we listen to the customers, and we can get back to a customer and make a decision within minutes. Can we do it? Oh, very rarely we can't, because we always make a plan. If Garrett says to me, I want a car for my wedding and it needs to be pink with white fluff on the bloody dashboard, Garrett will get it for you.
Wow.
We committed. That's what we'll do. If we don't have it, we'll go out and we'll get it for our customers, because that's what we do. Like I said, coming from car rental, I understand the pain points from a corporate customer. So if you sign a corporate agreement with us, what hurts you on your invoice when you're dealing with a lot of other car rental companies? It's these things, like to have a car delivered to you or to be collected from you. You have to pay for that, right? If I drive a car from Durban or pick it up at Lanseria but drop it off at OR Tambo, you have to pay for that. Yeah, at Woodford, you don't. Understanding this and understanding the better, you have to be able to adapt to the market. So I said, listen, we're not doing any of that. If a customer wants me to deliver or collect a car within a 25-kilometer radius, we'll do it free of charge. If a customer is fetching a car from one spot and dropping it off at the next in the same region, you're not going to pay for that. We don't pay for cancellation fees. If Garrett decides, you know what, I'm actually not going to travel, I'm not even going to phone them, we're not going to charge you a no-show fee. We do these little things, Garrett, because it's not just about the money. I'd love to take the money from customers, but we believe more in building relationship with our customers and building the trust. One of the things that I go out and say to people often is that I'd love to take your money consistently. Every month, if you're spending $100,000 with me, I'd love it.
Sure.
But Garrett,
so
why
you want
are
to build
spending?
you want to build the long-term relationships, which I think is the
relationship. Yeah.
All business.
Absolutely.
I had this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. All business is actually down to relationships, and if you've got a good working relationship with somebody, you want to keep that. You're not going to, even if people offer you the world, you're not going to swap that relationship, because that person, the brand has a face. The person involved is the reason you deal with that company. And I think that's obviously evident from you. Listen, it's a great pleasure to meet you and to have you on the show. And I can promise you, for me, you guys will be top of mind next time I'm in the business of hiring a car, renting a car for the day, for the month, for the weekend, whatever it might be. And you have an awesome weekend.
Thanks a lot, Garrett. Your next rental is on me, complimentary.
No, don't worry about that. But thank you. Thanks so much, Kevin. What a pleasure.
Take care.
Thanks, dude.
Good.
Lovely
Bye.
to see you. There we go. It's Kevin Pillay from Woodford Car Hire, and our window seat for this week. You know, when you travel, you have to take all of these things into consideration. It's not just the plane ticket, it's all the other stuff. And if they can make it easier and better for you, then hopefully we've introduced you to somebody and a company that will be able to make everything smoother. All right. Limited Edition says, am I the only one for whom today doesn't feel like a Friday at all? Feels like a Monday for me today, and I don't know why. No, it doesn't feel like a Monday to me. I've had a crazy busy week, so I am totally ready for the weekend, even if it means just doing nothing with both hands. Woodford is a good brand, says Melissa Hartland. Thank you, Melissa. And she doesn't clearly work for them, so that's a proper endorsement. Hey, I just bought a RAV4 hybrid. Okay, very good, Tokolosh. I haven't seen one of those for a while. My mother always wanted one of those cars. Not that that's a good or a bad thing, but good for you, Tokolosh. And then my best 4x4, says Hendrik, was a rental, a VW Polo. That thing went everywhere. Listen, dude. Some people, as you heard from Kevin, they abuse these cars. All right. I am delighted to welcome to the show. We were meant to have him on a while ago, and between him and I, we got confused about what the day was or where he was going to be. But I love this man. He's easily one of the funniest people in the world, not just in South Africa. And apparently he's running for a place called Joburgton. But we're going to find out what that's all about in a second. First things first, let's welcome long-time returning champion of the Gareth Cliff Show and many of his own shows. Last time I had a conversation about his arcade game business, which we're going to find out about too. But here he is, tall-ass Mo. Hey, tall
Yeah,
ass.
let's go.
How the fuck are you, my friend?
Good morning, number one Caucasian.
Oh, I've missed you, man. What's news?
I'm you, man. I'm good. I'm good. I can't complain. This weather is shit today, man. Oh my
Oh, it's
gosh.
so shit. Yeah, and I've
It's so
forced you
hot.
to get up really early, so thank you.
You're the most disciplined person I know, Gareth. I don't want to lie, bro. I don't know how you do it. You up early in the morning. You look fresh. Your hair is gelled up. Who does
Oh,
your hair,
bro.
man?
Let me tell you something. I used to be more disciplined, right? When I was doing Monday to Friday every week, and I thought about this the other day. I certainly don't feel like I'm any kind of superhero for doing this stuff because there are lots of people. They're domestic workers all over this country who are up at like 3:30 in the morning to get to work
It's
on
crazy.
5 different taxis, and they earn 7,000 rand a month if they're lucky. But
It's crazy.
I now do it once a week, and I cannot tell you how happy and relaxed and just good life is not having to wake up at 4:30 every day of the week. It's horrible. I don't know how people do it.
I don't know, but tell me something. Did you see Fresh is back on Kai FM?
Is he?
Yeah, him and Tato.
Oh man.
Would you go back though? Would you go back
Never.
to
Radio.
You'd never go back, yeah?
No. What for? I mean, I get to do all of the fun things. I get to talk to all of the amazing people I get to do here. I have this phenomenally smart, brilliant audience who choose. They don't just get in the car and listen to whatever's on. They choose to listen and to watch what we do on a Friday. There's no going back from that. That's like playing in the Premier League and then suddenly you go, nah, I think let's go for relegation. Let's go to the I don't know, the Iwiza Maize Meal second division or whatever it is.
Emin Mataba's Black Like Meat division.
Yes. Okay, so there's so much to talk to you about. First of all, how's the arcade business going? Is that kicking ass and taking numbers?
Yes, it certainly is. As a matter of fact, we've now moved into the VR space. We've got a deal with a Chinese company whereby we are now able to supply local companies with VR-based machines. I don't know if you've seen them. They're mostly in the corner of malls. You see little bikes that look like they're from Tron.
But hang on. Before you get into all the new stuff, just tell people, because this fascinated me, and I only heard about it once you and I had finished the show last time, and we were standing outside on the balcony talking. And you told me that those old arcade games like Double Dragon, which I used to play as a kid, where you have the joystick and the 4 buttons.
Yeah.
You can sell people, like people can buy those or rent those from you, and they can put them in their houses, man.
That's correct. Yes. A lot of guys actually call me to set up their man caves as well. So what I do is that I build arcade machines, foosball tables. I refurbish pinball tables, like nostalgia pinball tables. Like I think the latest one we refurbished is called a Gilligan's Island. You still remember Gilligan's Island?
I don't know that I ever saw that.
Gilligan's Island basically was an American series. It was very, very famous back in the 80s and the 90s. So we just recently refurbished that for a client. He absolutely was in love with it, and also a Jurassic Park table as well. So what we do is that we also try and school the kids. We teach kids at different schools of specialization. Like, for example, I work with a school called Mpilisweni School of Specialization. They based all the way in East Rand. And what the school does is that they actually teach their kids specialized skills so that when they leave matric, they can actually now start opening their own little businesses and do their own thing. So we teach them how to build arcade machines, how to refurbish pinball tables, and at the same time, how to backward reverse engineer current consoles. Like, for example, the PlayStation 1 has ran out of copyright. The copyrights have expired. PlayStation 2 up to 3, all those copyrights have expired. So that means now you can take those machines, hotwire them into an arcade table, and download a shitload of games onto it and have it.
So hang on, I just got to name a couple of these. So Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yes, we've got that. It's definitely there. That copyright for Sonic the Hedgehog, it ended in 2002. Same thing with Mario Brothers. Same thing with all these other old school games. they don't refresh the copyright license on the game. So once it expires, they just move on to the next version of the game. So the older ones can now be played publicly.
Okay, I have to. This is mind blowing because I know how brilliant you are on the comedy stage. I've seen you do your stuff on television. I've heard you on radio. You're such a talented man. And then you've got this whole other separate business where you are doing something that it doesn't just have nostalgic value like the stuff I love.
Yeah.
For people who this is competitive and it's advanced and it's technologically going into new spaces. Just one last thing on the nostalgia. Do you make those air hockey tables?
Yes, we do. And the punching machines as well. So basically anything you ever grew up with at an arcade, we basically have those machines. We know how to outsource them. We know how to find them. Like most of these machines we find in old warehouses packed with dust and nobody cares about them anymore. And we just buy it off the guys and fix them up.
Okay, so how do people find out about this? Where do they, because I know there are going to be people in this audience of ours who want to buy a air hockey table for their man cave. There are going to be people who want to have one of those old consoles with, the wooden ones that go like this.
Yes, those are the
they
ones
want to put that in. They want to put that in their veranda at home or whatever. Yeah. Where can people get hold of this stuff?
Okay, on Instagram we called TAM Gaming Community. The TAM Gaming Community. It's TAM Gaming Community on Instagram, on Facebook, or they can follow my personal page, Paul S. Mo the Gamer, and they can just drop us a DM. We have a selection and a whole catalog of all the machines that we have available on the TAM Gaming Community page. If they want customized arcade machines, for example, I can take a cabinet and customize it with your face, your brand, your logo. So we do it for restaurants. I service quite a few Spurs as well. I don't know if you've seen, there's a couple of Spurs that have arcade machines for the kids. We basically service, manufacture, and refurbish machines as well.
It's so funny you mentioned that because there's this shared South African childhood experience of people of a certain age where our parents would take us out for dinner, which was already the most exciting thing ever because we didn't go out for dinner like
all the time.
Often. I remember my parents and the one couple that they were closest friends with who were like my other parents. Then we would go out together and there were 5 kids and there were 4 parents and we would go to a Spur or whatever and we would have the burger or whatever. And then while the parents were sitting there talking shit for like an hour after supper, we would go into the arcade, which was next door, either at a Bimbo's or whatever it was. There was always an arcade around there. And we would play these games. And that's how I remember like some of the most happy moments of my childhood. And we couldn't get enough of these games. Like if they wanted to leave after an hour and a half, we were like, no, stay in there. Keep talking shit because we're happy here. We just want to keep playing this stuff.
My only crazy memory about Spurs is that my parents would never allow me near the salad bar. I don't know why.
That's because people would drop pubic hairs in the salad van.
Yeah. They're like, you do not eat from that salad bar. Do you hear me?
All right. I love this. Tell me, are you still mates with Mike Bollace? Because you and he were like very close for a long time. He's such an interesting guy and what a weird combo. Tall ass Mo and Mike Bollace. I'd love to walk into a restaurant in South Africa and see the two of you sitting there talking to each other. I don't think anyone would look at any other table.
It would be crazy because the thing is, you wouldn't understand what we're saying, Gareth. We speak in Afrikaans 80% of the time. And the thing is, Mike and I share the same shoe size. So he has a difficulty with finding the right sneaker. So every time I buy a sneaker, I buy the same pair and I give it to him. He's an absolutely amazing guy, bro. He was actually now cracking the most craziest cases. He's actually busy now with the big that a lot of South Africans weren't aware of. It's this, if you remember, there was a business lady who declared herself to be dead, but she wasn't dead, still alive, and she was still using the social media pages and stuff like that. So Mike called me up and said, "Yo, listen to this fucking bliksem story." He always gives me the source all the time. She's like, "This is the dumbest dead person who's alive."
He deals with so many crooked people, but one of my favorite things, I occasionally see him pop up on social media. And he was talking about like discipline at schools, and he's big on that. He says he thinks it's a very bad idea that kids don't get like a hiding every now and then, because let's face it, I mean, that's how I grew up. I'm sure that's how you grew up too. You got a clap if you were out of line, right?
Definitely. There's
Yeah.
a saying that says, my mother always lived by it. You spare the rod, you spoil the child, right? You know, so sometimes it's very important that, you know, our kids should receive some sort of discipline. But then I fully agree with Mike when we say that we sometimes have to discipline our kids in a way that they can really feel the fact that what I've done is wrong, or I should never ever do this shit again. So now we have to come up with new creative ways on how to punish these kids. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't put a hand on them. So now we put them underneath couches, we hang them on the roof. You know what I'm saying? We put them outside to expire. You know what I'm saying? So we try, because taking away a tablet or a cell phone really isn't that much of a hardcore punishment.
No.
Maybe crack the screen a little bit, you know, just make them feel it, you know.
How are your children?
My kids are doing so well, bruh. You know, can I tell you something? I felt that my kids were having a tough time with being sociable with other kids, you know, because they were attending a small private school called Christian Life Primary School, and in their class, it's like 5 or 6 of them in the class. So every time we'd go to spaces whereby there's quite a lot of people, my kids were like really weird. Like it's like they have this weird social disconnect kind of vibe, you know, because they're not used to being in spaces whereby there's a lot of people. So I decided to do a social experiment, right? So I took the kids out of that school, all right? I put them down the road at Baklu Primary.
Uh-oh. What happened?
Oh my God. So they were kids from all over the place. They got friends from Alex, they got friends from Calvin, they got friends from Baklu, so it's like I've seen the difference, and they're speaking a little bit more Vernac, because they just wouldn't speak Vernac at all, you know. So it's like I can hear the South African tone in their voice now. They're saying things like yo 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 yo.
Okay. Well,
You know what I'm saying?
listen,
So
though,
it's
this is a thing. I know a lot of black parents, friends of mine, who are worried because their kids don't speak any
Vernac.
Zulu,
Yeah.
Xhosa, Tswana, Venda, whatever it is that they speak. They're not doing that because their friends don't speak it. And at the schools, they either speak only English, or they'll speak English and some language that isn't even from here.
True. But there's one province that maintains their discipline when it comes to Vernac. I have to give it up to KZN. bro.
KwaZulu-Natal.
I have to give it up to KZN. No matter how brilliant the kids speak English, or no matter how brilliant the schools they go to, but when they get home, it's first language. It's Zulu. Their parents don't want to hear a word of English, bro. You know?
You know,
So-
I went to a primary school in KwaZulu-Natal, and it was I mean, it wasn't a government school. I think it was but it wasn't a private school either. It might have been a government school. But I remember we had to learn. They had Zulu when I was, I don't know, 6, 7. And one of the first things they taught me was, I'm a little teapot in Zulu. You want me to do it for you? You want me to do it?
Go ahead, bro.
Mina ngithipoti lo mpopo wame. Lasis bambosani latangulo.
Don't ever do that shit again, Gareth. I beg. For the sake of the viewers, guys, please, no, I do not encourage you. Mina ngithi teapot.
Chipoti. Oh, bro, I know. I remember that. And then they taught us.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many. What was the other one that I did? There were a couple of things that they taught us that I've never ever forgot. Kinyaka peterolo. Speaking of like Woodford car hire from before, but I still, you know what's amazing?
Yeah.
It's like I can if people are speaking, and there's a difference between KZN Zulu and Zulu that is spoken everywhere else. Because if you go into like rural KZN, that is a pure undistilled or rather distilled, totally different form of Zulu than you get like on the streets of Joburg, for example.
Very true. I barely understand it myself, bro.
Yeah. It's much more difficult, and they take it super seriously.
Yeah.
But I remember if people speak very, very slowly, Like if I meet a retarded Zulu person, I can understand most of it. But if it's someone who speaks normally, I'm in big shit, man.
So you need to speak to a Zulu who's got a little bit of autism.
So meet someone who's a bit slow, a slow adult, then I'm good.
No, I got you, bro. No, you know, the thing is, I think vernac is very important. I think kids shouldn't lose their culture. I mean, at least if they know the basic forms of communication, greeting, and asking how much, you know what I'm saying? If you know how to say how much in any language, you'll survive anywhere
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
that basic respect, like just understanding, you know, the boundaries of different cultures. Some of the cultures don't hug. Some of the cultures don't shake hands. Other cultures, they kiss on the cheek and they bow to each other.
But
you know,
look at Afrikaners, right? And look at how they've protected and preserved their language.
Yeah.
It's the second biggest language in the country. It's ahead of English, actually, as the home language of most people. And you look at how that community they've built schools, they've built universities, they have cultural institutions that look after this stuff.
Yeah.
If people aren't going to do that themselves, I mean, the government's not going to do it for anybody, right?
They won't. The thing is, Afrikaans people, one thing I love and I commend about them is that they've got this great sense of community. Like you see where we in Camille Fontaine, it's a farm type area, you know. It's the same area. Mike stays in the very same area. He's got a flamingo rescue farm not far from.
He's like your next door neighbor, isn't he?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, and he has this sense. He told me that there's a sense of community around the farmers in that area, like the Boer Mensa in that area. And is that number one, they always communicate. Number two, they have each other's backs. Number three, they create their own service deliveries. So, for example, they don't rely on the government to come and remove the trash. They've got their own trash cycling system. They don't rely on, for example, SPCA to come and remove dangerous things like snakes, because we have a lot of snakes in our area, man.
People do that themselves.
You know, they do it all themselves. If things go broken, if a water pipe bursts, 3 people will come out with their tractors and they'll grab their employees and show them how to fix the pipe. They're not going to wait for government to get there. So I think that's one thing we can learn from them is sense of community. Look at Orania, right?
Yeah.
Orania a couple of times. I've been there maybe 2 or 3 times with Mike. And every time I go there, there's always some sort of new improvement. They're basically going to be self-sustained. They're going to be self-sustainable by 2030. They don't need electricity from Eskom. They don't need water from Rand Water. They don't need food and other things that are imported from overseas. They do everything themselves in that community. And they thrive in.
Yeah, I look at what's going on in America, and I think about race relations in America, and then I think about what we've got here. We are so much better off than they are. In America, they are much more, there's a lot of tension. You know, you would think post Barack Obama, things would have got better, but in America, it's worse. South Africans, the average South African white person and black person get along better than I would say almost anywhere else in the world. What we've got to sort out, and I don't know if you've got strong feelings on this, but you know, the big issue of the moment, and it's certainly coming up in politics. You've got people like Herman Mashaba and Gayton McKenzie talking about it all the time. But this idea of, you know, the rest of Africa is not welcome here. And the fact that we treat immigrants, and listen, don't get me wrong, I don't have massively strong feelings about this, but I think if you want to live somewhere, you've got to go through the process and do what everybody else has to do, especially if you want to partake in public services and that kind of thing. But I think we've got a shitty attitude to the rest of the people on this continent, and it's becoming more and more of an issue. It was huge last week. We had those protests. Luckily, nothing really severe happened.
Yeah.
But you know, people don't feel as safe if you are, and you can tell if someone's from Zimbabwe or Malawi or Zambia. They sound different to us.
Yes, immediately.
But I don't ever want anybody to think that just because of who they are, especially with the history of this country, that they're going to meet with violence or that they're not going to be able to settle here if they follow the legal processes. I don't know if you have strong feelings on this.
we all know that xenophobia is a paid-for thing by the government, bruh. Like, it's somewhere, somehow up there in the government. Like, there's somebody who has planned this thing to happen, and it's another way to swindle money, my brother. Look at that. The 600 million rand was readily available for the 30th of June, like that. Boom.
Yeah.
We didn't even see 600 rand worth of protection services out in the streets. It was just quiet. Nobody went to work.
And also, where the hell are those police every other day of the year when ordinary South Africans are getting mugged and hijacked and killed?
You know what? I don't have a problem with people coming into South Africa from different countries, whether it's on asylum or whether it is for business and or work or pleasure, whatever it is, as long as you respect the culture. Like, look at, for example, there's this big, super major problem with, like, for example, a Zimbabwean disrespecting South African culture. I'll give you one example. I don't know if you know a guy called Lebu M, right?
Yes, of course.
So now Lebu M is one of our South African treasures, right? Grammy Award winning. Lion King sells out internationally around the world. What an amazing movie, right? And he's made a hell of a lot of money from this product, which has put South Africa on a map whereby we never thought would ever be, And in his Broadway production, he's hired a lot of Zimbabweans, a lot of Malawans, a lot of South Africans. He works with Africans across the platform, Then comes along this fucking idiot of a fucking comedian, Learn More Jonasi. I mean, listen to the name, Learn More. But he
Learn more.
Yes, learn more. Like, what the fuck? Like, it really annoys me. Like, goddamn.
What is this guy done?
He went ahead and insulted the Lion King anthem, the Lion King song. When Lebu M goes, yes, that is like that is an African royalty cry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This dumbass nigga went on to a podcast called 154. It's hosted by two Nigerian African Americans, and he voluntarily went ahead and tried to explain the meaning of that praise. And he said, "Oh, look, it's a lion. Oh my God." That's not what it means.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Lebo M's been on this show before, and he's a tremendously talented and a very, very decent human being. He made Hakuna Matata famous. That's not South African. That's Tanzanian. Swahili. That's Swahili.
Yes.
And if we keep, there's nothing that irritates me more than tribalism when it's used negatively. There's nothing wrong with a bit of tribalism if you have pride in where you come from, your family, your ancestors. I love that shit. That I think that stuff's so important, and people should be proud of their own cultural history. But tribalism, when it's used to divide and to break things down and to separate people and discriminate against them and be mean to them because they don't fit into your tribe, I think that's just the worst thing we can do.
It's absolute bullshit, man. I mean, the kid has been taunting Lebu for quite some time now. I mean, and I find it so fucking irritating that South African comedians never came out to his defense. I was one of the few people that actually came out and said, actually, Learn More, you fucking disrespectful piece of shit. This is our culture. What the fuck do you know about Zimbabwe? What do you know about South Africa as a Zimbabwean? He was like, oh, no, dude, learn more. Yeah, learn fucking more, bro. But, dude, level of education, very low educational. You understand? And I asked myself, why would he go ahead and disrespect South African culture like this? And then the thing is, he continues, goes ahead, taunting him and posting. He's now doing a tour, right? With the saying that he's doing a lawsuit tour because Lebu's suing him for $27 million, right? And unfortunately, Learn More doesn't stand a chance. They actually served him while he was performing on stage at LA Improv, So
oh, wow.
I think that these are the kind of things that we shouldn't take no nonsense of. We protect our fucking culture. You don't.
No, I got you. I got you.
You want the right to explain what South Africa is if you are not South African. You know what I'm saying? You can't explain.
Durban Dope says politics and politicians cause these divisions between cultures, religions, and races, and we know that's true, right? The politicians profit from making us hate each other, and they find any new thing they can to make us distrust, disrespect, distance ourselves from each other. That's obvious, and you already brought that up. Barely Vocal Radio says, I wish we had more I wish we had other languages other than English and Afrikaans in school. Well, I mean, yeah, you're never too old, dude. I think he's out of school already, but I think that's I think that's very true. The more languages you have in your arsenal, the better for you, right?
Yes, and I think your mind as well, it becomes a little bit more expanded. Your train of thought also becomes more universal, because people don't think the same everywhere. The languages also influence the level of understanding and the level of culture that you have and the level of education that you would have, because there's some of the languages that are not available on university level. You can't study in those languages. So we should be very grateful that in our country, we have UKZN, we have Mhlaba wa Lingana, where you can go there and learn in Zulu from beginning to end. So we are very, very blessed.
I mean, you laughed at Tipoti earlier, but I mean, I drove past the University of Pretoria the other day, and it says University, and I'm like, yeah, come on. All right, so here's Darren Dixon says, I remember Mo chatting with me in Rosebank about Scientology, random meeting, but awesome little memory.
Yeah, I am a Scientologist, yeah. So yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I joined Scientology now. It's been 2 years now.
What belt are you? Black belt? I mean, what's the 33rd? What are the degrees? How do you get to be a operating thetan? Tell me this shit, man.
Yeah. I joined Scientology simply because they have this notion against psychiatry and psychiatric medication. I hate that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I'm not the person. I remember there's a point in time where I was on Epilim and I was on all these weird medications that help with anxiety and nervous breakdowns and stuff like that. And it just dumped me down. And I felt like, excuse me, my sense of humor was even disappearing because my mind was not as fast and sharp and witty as it should be. So I got introduced to the Church of Scientology, and what I've learned through them is that, you don't need medication to actually access the deeper portals of the mind, So there's different kinds of and stuff that you would learn that will assist you and help you to actually get your mental frame back into normal.
I mean, don't you think that everything now, and especially with kids at the age that your kids are, having a mental illness is almost like part of your identity. And we have Dr. Hanan on here, who's just my favorite psychologist because he's practical. He's like, these are the things you can do to make your life better, and none of it is just sitting there on a couch talking to him and talk therapy. He gives you practical ways to improve your life. And he's one of the people who has won me over to some of the things that in psychology I was massively suspicious of. Yeah. But I think everybody also medicates everything these days. Every problem that you have, there has to be a medicine to fix it. And I don't think that that's the case for most people. Most of us, you've got to, life is not going to be easy all the time. I hear a lot of people saying, oh, that makes me uncomfortable. And I think, what kind of soft creature are you? What kind of pathetic human being expects life to be comfortable all the time? I know you, and I've known you for a long time. You've been through some tough times.
Yes.
Saying I'm not comfortable doesn't help you get out of it.
No, it doesn't at all. As a matter of fact, you don't want to be comfortable in life at all. I don't believe in being comfortable. Once I'm comfortable, I get worried. I'm like, no, I'm stagnant. Comfortability equals being stagnant. So you can't be comfortable. You need to always strive for more. That's the human nature in itself. Human nature only settles down when you can't do nothing no more. And even when you're in your 80s, you still have dreams. You still have things that you want to do,
Hey, what's happening in comedy at the moment? Because I haven't been on the ball as I usually am. I haven't been to see a live comedy show for a long time. I feel like I should because I love it. It always makes me inspired and energetic. And laughter is the best medicine. We're talking about medicating. Laughter is the best medicine. What's happening in comedy though? Because all the names that I used to know don't seem to be doing as much stand-up anymore. Is there not enough? Are there not enough places to do stand-up?
It's not that there's not enough spaces to do stand-up. I think that now the comedy industry in itself has got a major divide. It's got a very, very big divide. It's very cliquey as well. Like there's certain comics that stick together and do gigs together and they click together. And at the same time, there's comics who have now built their brands to such an extent whereby they don't need to do ensemble shows with other people anymore.
Oh.
Now, the The one thing that people are complaining about a hell of a lot right now is that big Savannah comedy show that's happening in South Africa. It's called Bafani Bafani.
Yeah, that's the one that Trevor's doing, right?
Correct. Now, the problem is this. Yes, you got local South Africans on there, right? Bafani Bafani means Bafana Bafana. Bafana Bafana is South African team. Then they go around, then they fuck around and put Learn More Jonas on the lineup. Really? Really, really? What the fuck, Trevor? What the bloody actual fuck, bro?
This motherfucker.
You know? Like, dude, it doesn't make any sense. That show should be an opportunity for local South African comedians to participate in. Now you're going to bring fucking Learn More Jonas. You can't even look at you straight in the eyes. I mean, his one eye is there, the other is over there. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, it's like, why would you want to have a person who ridicules South African culture to be on a South African cultural show? Fuck that nigga. I'm going to pick it outside that show. If they don't remove that nigga off the lineup, we're going to pick it outside with boards and signs. I promise you, bro. Trevor will not forget me that day, bro. He won't. I'm on a serious mission, man. You can't disrespect our culture like that, and then we must fight. No,
but how much? I love you ranting about Learn More. This is my favorite part of the morning,
bro.
But hang on, how much of comedy is now because of the internet, right, and because of social media, which is now it's old news, but the clip comedy world, where you get your fill from watching 20, 30, 40-second clips that are on Instagram or TikTok. And that kills the live comedy because people go, oh, well, I don't need to see it. I've just seen, enough on my phone. I don't need to go anywhere. And it doesn't cost you money. I think it's bad. I think it's in the long run, it's going to hurt comedy. Because I remember when you and I last spoke about comedy, which is not what we talk about normally, but I remember you telling me and this is years ago, but you said there was a real camaraderie. Like everybody knew each other, they supported each other, they would do these big shows. I mean, I remember the days of David, the Blacks Only shows, which were phenomenal runaway successes. People didn't want to miss it. It was a calendar item for them every single year.
Yeah. Now the thing is, it's like comedy has become dissolved by TikTok. You're absolutely right. Now what we are doing is that, like the real stand-up comedians, you'll find an influencer calling himself a comedian but has never stepped on a stage before to do stand-up comedy. So now the word comedian has been diluted so fucking bad that if you can do something funny online, you are now a comedian. I'll give an example. I'll tell you one thing. Funny Chef, you are not a comedian, my sister. Okay? Please, stop today. You are not a comedian. You're an overweight lady that can cook funnily, very finely. I can't explain. Jesus Christ. There's people who try and do stand-up comedy online and think that it overtakes the stage. When we put these motherfuckers on stage, they can't even speak in front of an audience of 5 to 10 people. You understand? Because you're in front of your cell phone and you're brave. Fuck you, tall ass smoke. Then when it's time to meet me on the stage, you have stage fright. People don't know who the hell you are. You don't sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? So I think that comedy really, really, it needs to go back to its original sense. We are now forced to end up doing these comedy skits online to advertise for people to come to the live shows now.
Well, I mean, there are comedians I've spoken to tell me that what they do now, not them, but they've seen other comedians doing this. They set up, they've got someone with a camera, and then that person is basically clip farming. So they don't really care about the show, because what they're doing it for is not for the audience who's paid, who's sitting there. They're doing it so that they can have a clip that they can put out on social media later. And that's the real reason they're doing these shows, so that they can look like real comedians. Let me tell you, if I went to a show, if I were a paying customer and I sat there and I realized that we were the side show and the real show was this guy farming for clips, I would be furious.
Yeah, no, it is. It does really happen, especially with a lot of comedians that are up and coming. I think that the quality and standard of South African comedy has been escalating. It's really, really been getting better and better. I mean, we have comedians like, for example, what's his boy, Dylan Oliphant. What a fucking natural, bro. Absolutely amazing. Every single award that guy has won, he really 100% deserves that shit, you know? But you also have to look at the fact that the Comic Choice Awards is not based on what the people have to say. It's based on what the industry says. So if another comedian can vouch for you, you can be nominated as a stand-up comedian, or you can be nominated for an award. Now, that has caused a lot of divide in the industry because now people are becoming cliquey, you know? They don't want to vote for you because they know that you already have something going on. I mean, you're on TV, bro. Why should I vote for you? You know, let me get all my other comedian friends to vote for me. Your career must end because it's our turn now, you know? So it's kind of a weird space. Fuck the Comic Choice Awards. I don't participate in such bullshit. You know, I won't.
But you know what that is. I mean, that's the same as so many other things. Jealousy, and I remember when "jealous down" was a popular saying in this country. These are communists. These are people who think that everybody must get the same, where talent and merit are not rewarded. And you know, comedy is a tough business. You only are as good as your last show. People don't remember what you did 6 years ago, but you were slogging in the trenches 10 years ago. Some people have been trying and working and failing publicly in front of people, failing for years to get as good as they are.
And it's the only job where you get instant gratification. You will know right there on the spot if you were shit or if you were good. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I think that the nature of stand-up comedy right now in Africa needs to be more internationalized. People need to go out there more. We need to go perform overseas. We need to go perform in different African countries.
Hey, but isn't that what Learn More is doing?
No, let me tell you something. Now, the thing is, Learn More does derogatory comedy. You know what I'm saying? It pisses me off. I mean, how many times are we going to tell America, my neighbor is a lion? You don't have a fucking lion as a neighbor. What the fuck bullshit is that? He's got some other joke where he's like, in my village, we put him at a traffic light, and everybody took selfies with the traffic light. Nigga, you've had traffic lights in Zimbabwe for fucking eons. What
did you see? Listen, speaking of Zimbabwe, did you see that Emerson Mnangagwa, the president there, who's like 100 years old, he just changed the law so that he will be president forever.
For 2 more years.
Ever.
Motherfucker. Let us be fair. Can we die first, then get another president?
Exactly.
The president, and I'm still alive. Wait for me to die. I'm going to die. Don't worry.
Like my hero, Robert Gabriel Mugabe. Fuck's sake.
It's absolutely ridiculous, man. You can't change policies to benefit yourself, you know? And I think that's why that I believe a lot of Zimbabweans should go back to their country and fight for their country. They should go back. Just go back. Because look, if you think about it, in Zimbabwe back in the day, there was a time where they had their own form of xenophobia. And by the way, xenophobia is only described in South Africa, but not in anywhere else around the world if you come to notice, right? But anyway, the Zimbabweans actually kicked out all the Malawans, number one.
Yeah, that's true.
They kicked out all the Europeans.
Oh, wait. There was even, I mean, in Zimbabwe, people don't want to talk about this because they look at, you know, the end of colonialism and independence and Robert Mugabe, but they don't think about the massive issues between Shona and Matabele people. Huge issues.
Definitely they are. And the thing is now, the Ndebele people, the Matabele people are coming to South Africa fronting as South Africans because our language is sort of almost
similar. The same. Yeah.
Yes. And then the Shona people are stuck and staying that side, running their own country, thinking that they're doing a better job, of which they are not. I really honestly believe that everybody that has got a problem with running away from their country because of asylum, we understand the war-ridden countries. That we get.
Sure.
Like, for example, the guys in the Middle East, the Palestinians, God bless their soul. Like, I think that those kind of countries deserve to be, you know, taken out to asylum. They can get asylum. But then if you're Nigerian, bro, I mean, go back fucking home, bruh. Go and fix your goddamn country. Did you see that Nigerian fucker that got arrested in Cape Town for driving a fucking Maybach that he switched from South African online money, and then he wore Zulu attire saying, fuck you, Zulu niggas ain't shit. I thank God for the guys that actually followed this guy, investigated him, and finally put him behind us. He must fuck off.
Well, I'm sure your friend Mike Boles would love to look at that story as well.
Definitely.
So I want to. I want to play a clip. James, have you got that clip of King Misuzulu? Because apparently this is going viral this morning.
Oh
The
man,
Zulu King.
wife.
You've seen it?
I've seen it, bro. Oh
Okay,
my
I haven't seen it. So hold off. I want to see
Watch.
this first. Okay, let's
Oh.
have a look. James,
Okay,
hit the King of the Zulu.
Oh man.
Ungalwa nami wena. Hey, wekholo. Lenjaleni. Kusathi ngicela ngicela endini yami. Nginentombi yami lapha. Uncane endini lena. Anqenge ngcuza yakhe mina. Fuck. Ngangedelela umbholomo. Ngimpa imali uyazi uthini? Ngiyagcina. Uzombona uhlupheka kanjani umfazi lo. Ngimfuna aphumile futhi la endlini yami la. Hamba emachobeni.
Oh
How?
my God.
How?
Do you understand what he said in the first 2 minutes of that video, bro?
Well, I know towards the end he told them to get the fuck out, but
Yeah. I can't even repeat those words, man. That's the king, bro. Oh my God.
so in other words, we've come a long way from Bayete Nkosi and
Yes,
boom, boom,
come a
boom,
long
boom,
way.
boom, boom,
Don't
boom,
forget,
boom, boom.
he grew up in America.
Yeah.
He grew up in America. You know what I'm saying? And he does.
But
have
he looks
this-
like, in that clip, he looks like the average guy I would bump into in a shebeen.
That's correct. The stomach, the wife beater vest, the beer,
Yeah.
telling his kids to fuck off. Yeah, you know, like the swear words that he hit her with in the beginning. Oh my God, Gareth, I could never repeat those words with my mouth. And for the fact that he said that to his first elderly wife, he's like, I got younger bitches than you. Get the fuck out of here. He's like, I got younger, hotter bitches than you. You better get the hell out of here. You know, so it's, oh man, it's crazy. I think that, you know, those kind of scenarios, those situations should never be in the public. It should never be in the public space. I believe that somehow the royals have got the right to live in their own little world that no one.
This is where we were talking about. So Mfundo, who's been a listener from day one of this show, he sent me that clip. And Mfundo, he's Zulu. He lives in Durban. He came up and lived in Joburg for a while. He's a teacher, really good guy. And he's like, you got to see this clip of the Zulu King. But it started our conversation earlier about how, like, some things you still want to be mysterious.
Yes,
like some stuff we should not have all access to everybody all the time. Otherwise, all of these institutions, we're going to see that these are just normal human beings, and it's going to ruin the mystery.
It's going to crumble. I mean, seeing him in a state where he's drunk like that, you know, swearing at his wife, the queen of the Zulus, someone that everybody respects, you know what I'm saying? And for her to be spoken down upon like that, that's classic GBV case right there, man. That's like super weird shit, man. That is emotional abuse. It's cringy. It's very, very cringe to watch, you know? So I think that in our culture as well, as African men, we kind of have this superiority over women whereby we can be able to stand up and be like, listen,
well,
woman. Like
I just want to say, I mean, like, again, I'm outside of this. I have no dog in this fight, so to speak. But I also have to say that and this is not true for the clip that we've just seen, and it's not true for every woman by any means. But I see a huge amount of disrespect from women towards men, and I'm not defending GBV. I want people to be absolutely clear on this, because that's not what we stand for. It's not what anyone should stand for. But I know a lot of black women who only value a man based on how much money he has, and they don't have any respect for those men, and then they complain when the guy doesn't respect them back, but their attitude is bad from the get-go.
You're 100% correct. It's the slave queen nature. That's what we have now in South Africa. You know what I'm saying? If your pocket amounts to the level of respect I'm going to give you, once your pockets run dry, disrespect goes out the fucking window. There's very, very few seldom women who are left behind that are still willing to help a man reach his goals, even if it might be a little bit difficult here and there. But then we work together, we coincide together until we make something happen. You know.
Mo, I've got a friend, and he's one of the nicest people. He's a good human being. He's got character. He's honest. He's got integrity. He's a decent man. he's worked hard jobs, like difficult, like laborious, unskilled labor jobs. And this man, he is solid as a rock. He's dependable. He's respectful of everyone around him. He told me the other day that he's struggling to find any woman who will give him this much respect, because they're not interested in his character. They're not interested in what a good father he might be, what kind of a husband he might make. All that these slay queens are interested in is this man's wallet. And if his wallet isn't fat, they don't give a shit what else he has, which to me is just as bad as those men who are openly disrespectful to women. I think that's a horrible way to have a starting premise with anybody in a relationship.
That's 100% correct. And now, if you understand how mainstream media has actually allowed this condition to spread even further, like, for example, I'm so glad Showmax shut down, bro. I don't wanna lie. To fucking hell with those sons of bitches,
Oh, yeah?
you know? Honestly speaking, because if you look at the kind of content that Showmax was putting out there, South Africans lost interest in watching. There's a reality show called This Body Works For Me. Now, this is what the show is about. Your body working for you. So it's 5 slay queen bitches, right, that are on the show. And they're documenting them on how they swindle men for money, on how they sell their bodies online to get money, on how they're running OnlyFans accounts, on how they price the level of prostitution, on how they go out and get BBLs and they get, body fixed and stuff like that. And then they use that to find rich men. Now, this is why we have Madlanga Commission today. It's because...
Okay, do the connection.
Because of these bitches. They're like, wait a second, where the fuck do you get money to go to Dubai for 7 days and live the life you're living? It's Julius Mkhonazi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, did you see they arrested that Imogen Mashazi woman?
It's about fucking time. She's so disgusting, annoying. The pride she had when they were interviewing her, she had layers of cement, of makeup on her face. Do you see her in court today? Oh my God. I love it when the cookie crumbles. Thank you, Lord. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. All right.
She was wearing a fucking beanie, no weed.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it amazing though when they arrest these women who like have the makeup and the hair and the outfits and the Louis Vuitton bags and shit? Yeah. When they arrest them, they go back to like the
humble.
And then they wear their shittiest outfit and they're like, oh, you must feel sorry for me. And suddenly all the pride is gone, man, because they know they're going to jail.
The only person who really kept the fashion levels up is Kat Matala's wife. She doesn't give a fuck.
And him. I mean, like the guy was I saw clips of him on the news yesterday. The guy's still snappy dressing, even though he's in jail.
Yes, he wears Fendi shirts. He wears, you know what I'm saying? He's really, really up to date with it. But I think that woman deserves to go to jail because, number one, let's go back to that woman because we're always bashing men for some reason. I'm saying men are always in the headlines for the wrong reason.
No, you're right. You're right. We do.
With this woman, she was running Ikurulweni and she had the responsibility because she received information from iPad that says that Julius Mkhonazi is responsible for fraud, corruption, installing police lights into people's private vehicles and so forth. Here's the document. Do something about it. Dismiss this person.
But it's worse than that. It's worse than that because she was the national chairperson of the Lottery Commission for a while. Now, you know the lottery. I've got one friend who he plays the lottery, man. He plays it every week, and he puts out these clips of like, "I'm gonna win. He's never won."
Yeah, he
that
never
poor
will.
motherfucker. And then if you figure out that someone like Imogen Mashazi was in charge of the Lottery Commission and they were stealing. Now, remember, the lottery is meant to help charities, so it's meant to help poor people, children, disabled people, old people. This is not a get rich quick scheme for comrades.
Yes.
But this woman was dipping into the Lottery Commission's money, and she was living in a house that used to be Edwin Sodi's house in Waterfall Equestrian Estate, my friend. Do you know how expensive those houses are?
This shit crazy expensive. They're insane. 11 million, 12 million, 13 million rand. It's insane, you know. And for the fact that she also takes money from Ikurulweni. I'm from the East Rand. I'm a Kempton Park boy, born and raised in Kempton Park all my life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Stealing more than 260 million rand from Hospital View. The same woman here, the Ikurulweni, it's like people take Ikurulweni for a piss, bruh. It's like it's one of the municipalities that the people always contribute. They pay in the money, right? Thinking that they're going to get service delivery, but they don't get it. That's why there's such a huge budget for Ikurulweni, is because of the community. The community is the one that's paying their rates and taxes every day or every month. You know what I'm saying? So they swindle that money and use it for their own personal gain. I'm putting them on blast, bro. I really think that their day has come.
Yeah, check. That's her house. That's the house she was living in. Well, I don't know if it's her house, but she was living in that house.
That is crazy.
Right?
A government official.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But let's talk about the muhu of the day.
Who's that?
The munt of the day, actually. When's the last time you heard that?
I haven't heard that. Listen, I know what umuntu is, and that's not bad. But when someone says munt, yes.
Fucking
Who's
Brian
a munt?
Mukhozi. Fucking Brian Mukhozi. He shot his own car, bro. There's surveillance. They found the surveillance footage of him shooting his own car. And then he went ahead and said, I can't come to Madlanga Commission because my life is in danger. I almost got assassinated. General Khan tried to do the same thing. At least he got himself shot in the leg. I mean,
do it properly, you know. You got to take some pain.
Yeah, man, come on. Shoot me where there's no nerve endings.
Okay, 2 or 3 things people want you to do something here. So first of all, limited edition, who I don't think this is very funny, but you tell us, please rate my comedy. What is the difference between a blonde and a brick? A brick doesn't follow you around once you've laid it.
Oh, come on. Really? That is the most misogynistic joke I've ever heard in my life, bro.
Okay, here's another one. Rate my comedy. Why shouldn't we hire midget chefs? Because the stakes are too high.
That is stupid, man. Come on. He's getting these off the internet or what, bro?
All right, so limited edition, you've scored 0 out of 2. Durban Dope says, Tall Ass Mo, please tell us your best dad joke. When people ask you to tell a joke, really?
Yeah, I've got one for them. I've got a bad dad
joke.
Okay,
let's go.
Cool. So when you got your girl, right, and you're making love to her, okay, you gotta hit her doggy style, okay? You hit her from the back, and then you tell her, I'm about to come, right? Then you pull out, okay? You come in your hand and spit on her back. When she turns around, you're like, Spider-Man!
Dude, that is not a dad joke. A dad joke is the kind of joke you would tell in front of the kids.
That's the joke you have to tell your boy when you go out there and make sure you pull out, young man.
Listen, I think you must be a hell of an interesting father to have. Dude, can we please go out at some point and have a drink? I would love to just sit and laugh with you for a whole day. I think it would be the most excellent therapy in the world.
That would be great, bro. I moved out of the embassy recently because I found out that's where all these Madlanga guys are staying, bro. So I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to get shot here, right? So I left. So I'm in Lone Hill now. So I think definitely we can still link up, right?
All right, magic. No, we'll do that. I'd love to see you. Listen, you got my number. We'll talk. And for people who want the arcade stuff, we will also put a link in the description of the video. Yes. James and J9, if you could take care of that for us too. Tall Ass Mo, it's such a pleasure to see you, dude.
I'm so sorry. One last thing. I've got my big coming up on the 31st of July.
Oh my God. Oh, wait, we didn't. Wait. We can't end the show yet because you still got to tell us about this. The mayor of Joburton.
The mayor of Joburton. So basically what we're doing here is that I'm trying to change the nature and the state of Joburton through my comedy. So I'm working with the local municipality. I'm working with the mayor of Klerksdorp. I'm working with the local councillors, and we're basically fixing it up. I'm trying to show Galston Anthony how the fuck it really is to be a mayor, because that guy is never going to be the mayor, not under my watch, okay? So the mayor of Joburton is showing him what you should do to be a mayor. Just practical examples, bro. Fix the city, close up the potholes, give out to the kids, and make sure that our place is a safe environment for us to live. So tickets are available at Web Tickets. I'll see you guys there.
I love it. All right, my friend, it is so good to see you, and best of luck with the rest of your weekend. Keep warm. Thank you for waking up early to be with us. I love you. I have lots of time for you. Let's make a plan soon.
Definitely. I'll holler back at you. Let's have that cup of coffee soon. Thank you so much, Gareth.
Magic. Thank you, Mo. There we go. Tall ass Mo, everybody. One of the absolute unbridled, unhinged talents in this country, and someone who we can definitely see and hear more of. So go and see his show. He's going to change the mayoral race in, of all places, Klerksdorp. And he's such a fascinating human being. I mean, he's got just the most interesting world around him with, you know, Mike Boles, arcade games. He's just fascinating. I love him. All right, that's all we got time for today. And I'm not going to let James play that Dutch song, and I'm not going to play the Puerto Rico song to finish the show today. So no, James, none of that shit. Not today. Instead, I'm going to leave you with a clip of a chick in a factory, which is also one of the things that we always have on the show. People just love it. So I don't see why we shouldn't, especially in honor of Alex Caige in Hong Kong. Here's a Chinese woman in a factory singing a factory song. And that is it. We will see you next week, Friday. And if you haven't already subscribed for the daily briefing, which is all live, we put all the details in the comments earlier, but we will also attach all of those details in the description so you can have that as well. Go and get them while they're free. We're going to go to subscription soon. I want you to test it out first. There's no point paying for something unless you know what you're getting. It's getting better and better. We'd love to know your thoughts on it too, especially the people who've been listening to this show for a long time. You guys you're a barometer for me of whether we're getting things right or wrong. So please let us know and tell your friends. And if they haven't tried it, they probably don't deserve to, but convince them anyway. All right, that's it for us. We will see you next week. Be good, everybody. Ciao.
Look, this is our Garfield factory. Raw material is okay. Production is okay. Quality is okay. Price is okay. Containment is okay.